Officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. I'm Natalie Sawyer, and with me this Sunday morning it's the former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Alexander Usyk has become a 2-time undisputed world champion last night after defeating Daniel Dubois by knockout. Here's how the winning moment sounded on talkSPORT.
But Usyk will look to finish it. Goes in with the right hook, misses with the left, but he's up in a huge left hand again. He's down once more, and I think it's going to be all over this time. Dubois is at the count of 8, 9, and the fight is over. The towel comes in, but it was finished anyway. Usyk has shown that he is absolutely in another class.
What next for both? We'll evaluate it throughout the show. The British and Irish Lions started their series off with a win against the Wallabies after beating them 27-19 in Brisbane. This is what the captain Maro Itoje had to say on the performance.
Today was a good performance, particularly the first half. You know, when you play test match rugby at this level, everything doesn't go your way, and that was probably the story of the second part. As Big Fat said, absolutely delighted to win, absolutely delighted to get this test series off.
And we'll have more on that as well. Plus, can Marcus Rashford be on the move? talkSPORT sources can confirm Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle with Barcelona for the United forward. The deal is looking to be a loan with an option to buy, with Barca covering all of his wages. There you go. OK, so it looks like the Rashford era at Manchester United is once again, well, on the verge of coming to an end. We'll see what happens in the future with that one, of course, but certainly it looks as though his future lies elsewhere. Cass, how was your Saturday?
Well, it was full of sport, as expected.
Jam-packed.
I tell you, what a day, Nat. You know, when you look at sport sometimes and you think, Scotty Scheffler, talked about him yesterday, and how difficult the very best can just turn up and play their game, which he did. And look, Rory made a bit of a charge, but Scotty Scheffler dominated. Then you got the Lions. I thought it was literally one-sided. First half, they literally dominated the Wallabies. Finn Russell was brilliant. Yeah, I watched that as well. And then, obviously, the Dubois. Now, there's something... And I thought Dubois had a real chance yesterday. I said it on air. I really thought he had a great chance. And in the second fight, he's way worse than he was in the first. How does that work? He's had 2 years to improve and become better, which he'd clearly done. But none of us, and it's an interesting point, can a 38-year-old improve from what he was a year or two ago? Because he was way better, Usyk, than he was in the first fight, even though he beat, obviously, he beat Daniel Dubois. So,
well, he certainly looked as good as ever.
It's the best I've seen him.
Yeah.
He was just...
Controlled it from the start.
From round one, dominated. I thought Daniel was really struggling to handle him and just, kept him at distance. And then when he needed to, he attacked him and
what was the
hurt
question?
him.
And look, this is not what I'm suggesting in any way, but what was the question? It wasn't a question you put to Spencer about all the sort of preparations that you can put into something. But then once you get into the ring... What was it? Something about maybe it's not there. Something's not there.
Something that confused me all my life about sport. Yeah. And I sometimes experienced it in football. And I've talked to other sports people, men and women, about this, about the way you feel on the day.
Yes.
You wake up, you've prepared brilliantly, you've done everything right, so you're in prime position to go out and put on a performance. And for some reason, and you've ate the right things, you've slept brilliantly, you've got yourself as fit as you can get, and you turn up. I can remember playing for against Belgium with Ireland, and it was a knockout game, and I felt great in the morning of the game. By the time I got to the evening, I remember going on the pitch and thinking, I was blowing, I was puffing, I just didn't feel right, and there was nothing wrong with me. And yet, and I mentioned it to Spencer yesterday, and he said, you're right, you only peak every now and again. And other times it can be a struggle, but you don't know why you got up in that morning and you don't feel exactly. I'm not making this excuse for Daniel Dubois. He was clearly beaten by the better man, and Usyk was better than he was in the previous fight, which was to me the most astounding thing, that he could actually be better than that.
Well, let's hear exactly how it all unfolded then on talkSPORT.
It's a new dawn.
talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
It's a new day.
The biggest prize in sport.
It's a new life.
Champion versus champion.
And I'm feeling good.
Let the battle begin.
Great left-hand counter from Usyk.
The mouth, is that just starting to open here from Dubois?
It looks as though it might be. His bottom lip is looking swollen. Great shot from Usyk, left hand again. The crowd respond. But he's down. Dubois down. But he's landed a huge left hand again. He's down once more. And I think it's going to be all over this time. Dubois is at the count of 8, 9, and the fight is over.
Perfection. The greatest fighter of our generation has to be.
Yeah, so it all ended in the 5th round where Dubois was floored twice, but he couldn't beat the count for that second time, and it meant that Usyk is now that 2-time undisputed heavyweight world champion. Mightily impressive then, Cass, as we were saying. And John Rawling, who was on commentary duty there, we are going to be joined by him a little bit later on in the show to just get his take on it all, but also to sort of just see where they go next. I know Usyk himself was sort of saying, look, I'm going to have a break. I want to spend time with my family before I next think about what is next for me, as he was saying. But, I mean, obviously the landscape is wide open for Usyk in the sense of it's up to him who he wants to take. As for Dubois, it's slightly different now, because the hope would have been that he would have been this undisputed world champion. And as we said, most of us yesterday were thinking it felt like it was the right time.
Yeah, timing in life. Perfect time to fight him.
Yeah.
But Usyk was just magnificent in the 5 rounds that he literally took Daniel Dubois apart. And that, to me, was incredible to witness, because a guy at 38, we all consider that, when Daniel was 25 and would he get better? And he did, I felt, got to 27, 28. And yet the second fight was way more comfortable for Usyk. Isn't that extraordinary, Nat? We don't even consider a very experienced fighter at the twilight of his career has improved.
It's
that
staggering.
to me is extraordinary.
It is staggering. And what was the age difference? Around 10 years?
Well, yeah, he's 38. I think Daniel's 28.
Yeah, right.
So there's 10 years, but he's got better. He's got better.
It's extraordinary.
It's like I'm guilty of this. I'm totally guilty of saying, the age and yet it was so one-sided in a fight.
Yeah.
And, that to me was, I didn't see that. I could never have seen that. And I'm looking forward to talking to John Rawlings later, having a conversation about, people like Joseph Parker, Tyson Fury have said that he's going to fight again. He's going to, he's changed his mind on his future.
I'm a bit bored of that one.
I know, but he's beaten everybody. He's beaten everybody and beaten most of them quite comfortably.
I suppose that is the issue. It's like he has to probably repeat who he's fought before.
Well, you need a young gun.
Yeah.
There has to be a young gun in the world that people are going to go, there's this young lad coming through and going to break through.
So you don't think a trilogy at all?
I don't know who beats him.
No.
I've tried to, you go and think, how can he win? Everybody listening who loves their boxing or any sport, you always think of a way of what can be the difference? And you have so much surprises in sport. Who would have imagined that if you take football and said that Chelsea would go and beat PSG 3-0 in the Club World Club, in the Club World Cup. So sport is always surprising you. And boxing's no different. But I can't see anybody at the moment. And in commentary there, we heard the best of his generation. I'd probably go a lot further than that and say he's one of the all-time greats. To be a cruiserweight and literally do this to the heavyweight division, does it undermine what boxing is today? Are we sort of going to look at this future, last few years and go, well, then maybe this lot are not that good? Because we had at one time AJ, Tyson Fury, were great fighters, and yet this guy's dominated them all, and he's not even really a natural heavyweight.
No, that is true. Again, a great question to ask to John Rawlings, really. Especially where there's such, and understandably so, why there is such a bias towards the heavyweight division. But
it's the flagship of boxing, isn't it?
Of course it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And yet you've hit the nail on the head. It's actually going to be, as it feels, dominated by one person. I mean, American heavyweights.
I don't know what's happened to American boxers. I don't know. I know the UFC has had a major part to play in this. That there's a lot more people going down the UFC fighting road of martial arts, and boxing that has been affected. But we're seeing very little from the Americans at the moment, unless there's a heavyweight in America I know nothing about that is emerging. Yeah, you'd love to think that, but for me, I look at Usyk and I just think, is there anybody that really can take him to task and give him he's beaten everybody quite comfortably.
Yeah, very, very much so. Look, we all said it, that if Dubois was going to get the job done, he had to get it done early because we knew what happened last time in that first fight, how, again, Dubois seemed to be better, obviously, in the first few rounds of that first fight. And then, as we know, what happened.
Well, Tyson Fury had a good first fight with him, and it was marginal, wasn't it? It was very, very tight. When they first fought, but since then he's just got better. Usyk. Yeah,
but what I was going to say is that fifth round where it ended up with that knockout, he threw 17 punches, 12 of them landed. Yeah. That tells you how it kind of feels like that fifth round. It was like, let's go for it. And it just worked out in the end, as we said, because he landed 70% of the punches he threw in that round, and it certainly was the undoing of Daniel Dubois. Like we say, we will talk plenty more about this one, where they all lie now, the landscape of the heavyweight boxing division as well. John Rawling, who was on commentary for us, will be in the studio, and lots of you getting in touch already. Tony Gannon says Dubois didn't turn up. It was a hopeless performance.
Yeah.
Well, it was a disappointment, without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt, I get that.
I agree with. Saying hopeless is a little bit harsh, but there is. He might be the fighter that's just not good for Daniel as well. Sometimes you come up against the players. Yes. I've come against centre halves, and someone's you've named the very best, and you've done okay, and then you'll say someone and go, I never got a kick against him. Every time I played against him, he might be that awkward opponent that is just he's got Daniel's number in every way.
Yeah. And Andy, Arsenal fans, been in touch. He said Usyk had to win that fight, as he says Dubois has no charisma. Hard to sell fights off the back of Dubois, he was suggesting. Never in doubt, Usyk, different class. He says, let all the losers fight each other now and Usyk can have a well-earned rest. He's definitely going to have a well-earned rest. I'm sure about that. Yeah. As we said, I think the hope that we could have had a British unified heavyweight champion of the world would have been incredible, but it just didn't deliver, sadly, for Dubois.
One thing that I can't get out of my head is, how can he be that much better than he was in the first fight against Daniel Dubois, where he obviously got to 9 rounds? This was not even close to that fight. That's the surprising thing with me.
Yeah. All right, we'll have more on that, as I say, throughout. But on the way next, what's happening with Brian Mbeumo then? It seems as though it's all set for that move to Manchester United. We will discuss his future at Old Trafford next. Morning, this is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. It is the former Aston Villa striker Tony Cascarino who is with me, Natalie Sawyer, as we take you through until 10 o'clock this morning. And thank you for all of your contributions so early this morning with regards to the big fight at Wembley last night, which saw Alexander Usyk beat Daniel Dubois, knocking him out in the 5th round. And it means he is now a 2-time undisputed world champion in the heavyweight division. Wanted to get to this messages from Alan from Hamilton. He says, completely agree with you, Cass. This is probably the weakest heavyweight division of all time, he says. Fury, Joshua, etc. would not have been contenders in any other era, highlighted by the fact a cruiserweight has stepped up and dominated the division with his eyes shut. And that's how a lot of people are seeing it this morning.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to be harsh because it's easy to say in hindsight because he's beaten them all. But the way he's done it as well. I was just shocked that the second fight was easier than the first. Yeah. Just shocked by that.
Yeah, well, I think it stunned a lot of people, certainly. We're going to move on to a story that's been spotted in the Daily Star this morning.
Daily Star?
Daily Star.
Are you sure you want me to respond to it?
See how you feel. The headline, play that funky music.
Right, boy. Remember that
Yeah,
song?
well, I
Play
do.
that
Yeah,
song?
yeah, but you're not listening for the
Okay,
play on words.
okay.
Did you hear the play?
Oh, right, okay.
Play that funky music.
Right.
Yeah. Boffins say that cows,
Right.
who knew we'd talk about this morning, may produce more milk when they're listening to music. The effect is thought to be due to the sounds, reducing stress in cows, which can help with milk production. Slow, calming tunes are thought to work best. So, Cass, if you were putting a playlist on, what we going with to help with milk production of cows?
Oh, my playlist wouldn't really...
Wouldn't work.
No, I'd probably...
Not with Drake.
No, what would I play? What, if I want the milk to come from the cows, or just...
Well, I'd hope so. That's the whole point of it. I don't know. It's so
I
random.
don't know, some nice 70s soul. Some of the
that's
great...
nice.
Yeah, some nice 70s souls.
I mean, did they actually list what kind of music they play in this paper? No, I don't know. I haven't read it myself.
I'd probably put...
No. Just slow, calming, maybe a bit of classical music. Maybe that's...
No, I'm not...
But there is a lovely... I've seen it,
Go on.
footage of a lady who's sitting on in a field, playing the guitar with a cow next to her, and the cow just slowly starts to lie down next to her. It's like the cow is a cat or a dog, it's just...
Or a human.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like how your pets tend to sometimes snuggle up to you. This is what this cow's doing.
Yeah.
All because she's playing this music to
Comforting.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'd want the cat to move around, but cats don't really move around a lot, do you? I had to, what do they call it when they do?
What?
I did it in...
Milking.
Milking, that's it. I couldn't remember the bloody word. Anyway, I was milking cows on a TV show in Ireland. I did Bannister, which is Irish for coach. And I did a series there, which I won, by the way. Anyway, but I had to go and... I had to milk the cows. It was one of the tests.
Oh.
And that's it done. The cow then has...
I don't... Wait.
Well... he then decides to go out the other end.
Are we talking about he or she?
Whoever. Right. And honestly, she. But it was an awful experience now.
Okay.
It was milking one end.
This is not where I wanted this conversation to end up.
Well, I didn't know where you was going to go with it.
You're quite right. You're quite right.
Milking this cow was a horrible experience. And I remember doing it and thinking, oh, my God, I could never get involved with animals. You say TV and animals.
Yes.
Not good.
Okay. That was a short-lived thing then. Moon, the dog instructor, has been in touch. Thank you very much. Says dogs are the same. It's scientifically proven that classic and reggae music are better for dog stress levels. There you go.
Well, I'm sure. Well, we all know they can hear, so they must have some effects on them. But
yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for that. Right,
not heavy rock, there is there?
No.
What's that going to do to the animals? Heavy rock.
Well, if you want to reduce stress, that's clearly not what you want to do. That's for sure. Right, let's move on to Brian Mbeumo, shall we? As reported yesterday, he is set to join Manchester United after finally the club agreed a deal with Brentford for the Cameroon international. He was reportedly at Old Trafford yesterday as he finalises his visa and medical ahead of the move. Remember, United are, I think, heading out to the States for pre-season action. There is some debate about how he's going to be used in this United team because of the way Amorim sort of sets up it. By the nature of how Brentford play and how United... There's a suggestion that he's maybe not going to be utilised in the same way. Is that a worry for you that they might have to use him slightly differently? There's talk of him being a wing back, for example.
Yeah, well, he's got great energy.
Yeah.
You know that. He can defend brilliant for the team and he can attack. And it's relentless with him. I mean, look, you've got to put in consideration that they're going to have Cunha in there.
Yeah.
And they're also going to have Fernandes. So there's technical players inside, so more central, that are going to be attacking. So Brian won't be the out-and-out winger or wing back. I think he'll be that come inside slightly.
Okay.
But when need to be, he'll get out wide. But I think his role will be slightly different. But he's got to still get numbers because Brian's a goal scorer that can get goals in different ways. He loves to come on his left foot and he's looking to do the old Robin. You remember Robin, who used to love to get on his left foot and just bend them in.
Oh, hello.
And Brian can do that, which is one of his talent. But it's quite a strange looking forward line. If you think that it's going to be Fernandez and it's going to be Cunha and Brian, they obviously still need a central.
I was going to say, there's
they
somebody
need a
else in
central
there.
forward in there because obviously you're trying to create and exploit space behind defenders. But Brian's role will be slightly different. I can see that. But you don't want to take the reason why you bought him.
Well, that's what I was about to come to.
You don't want to take that away from him.
Look, obviously, last season was a standout season for him, but he is a player that has kind of got better and better as he's grown into the Premier League. And let's remember, what is he, 25? He's still very, very young. There's still a lot more to come from him, I'm sure. But you are buying a player that was so prolific on that right-hand side that was... I mean, you're right. He's got energy. He can get up and down the pitch. There's no doubt about that. But you want him to be a player that is going forward more than he's having to track back.
You don't want to lose the goals and assists. That's why he paid 65 million for him.
Yeah.
So you don't want to take any... I think there's a lot of pressure on him and obviously Cunha to hit the ground running. They've got to, the pair of them. Because if that doesn't work immediately for Manchester United, they're going to be in trouble. And that's the one thing. These are two new signings that have never played for the biggest clubs. You know, Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest in the country, but certainly them and Liverpool are the two biggest clubs. And you've had, you know, other big clubs around them that you could argue as well. But them two have got to hit the ground running. If they don't, it's going to be a mess. And you want them to play their best football. So you want them to settle. And sometimes asking to do different jobs, you don't want to, like I go back to, don't want to take too much about what they're best at.
Yeah,
well.
I mean, isn't that something that you can adapt a player to do, but over time, in the sense of, like you say, if you're buying them because you know what they've achieved already and what their strengths are, you don't want to suddenly completely change their game.
No.
So it might come in time.
Well, and we might see some, I mean, look, when I first played against Thierry Henry, and it's obviously a big example because Thierry Henry was a left winger and ultimately that was his only position. But until he moved around and got to Arsenal, he was then converted to a centre forward. Now, that was a huge change in his game. He managed it, but then Henry was the highest of the highest level. He'd already played for Monaco and was known to be a star. He was in the World Cup squad of 98. He was a big player, Henry, at a very young age. So... Brian's not that. He's in his mid-20s and he has just got to hit the ground running. I just don't see other solution because him and Cunha, there's a lot of pressure on two players that have never played for the big clubs.
Yeah. Any more on what happens with him? We will, of course, let you know. Guy, thank you very much for your message on the subject of music for milking cows. Why not go for Play That Milking Music, Farm Boy? Love it, Guy. Why not tell us your versions then? What other kind of cow-related music should we be playing to soothe and get the best production from cows? Yeah, let us know. I love that. Play that milking... And what I'm going to do, let me do that again. Play that milking music, farm boy. It would work. That'd be really good. So let us know any more. 81089 is the text number. The WhatsApp is 03717 223344. On the way next, we'll look ahead to the final round of the Open.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earned 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. We're live on your radio, YouTube and your smart TV. And with me is a man who's been given the freedom of the French town of Nancy. That's Tony Cascarino. And I'm Natalie Sawyer with you until 10 this morning. Listen, sometimes you just have a conversation and it spawns something ridiculous, which is about music that you would play for cows. I know if you're just tuning in, you're thinking, what are they going on about? It's all to do with the fact that it's a scientific study has shown that cows will produce more milk when they are played soothing music. And lots of you getting in touch already this morning about the perfect music and songs, etc., that you would play. This off the back of Guy from Brighton getting in touch and saying that they should go with Play That Milking Music, Farm Boy. Love it. James, he says, I gather a group of cows. My favourite tune is I Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Oh, brilliant.
How good is that? Yeah. Kieran Keys, Fly Me to the Moon.
I was thinking, I said, didn't I move on up? Did I move on?
You did go on Move On Up. We like that one
Curtis
as well.
Mayfield.
Yes, very good one. And Richard in Burgess Hill has given us a couple of options. How about Phyllis Nelson's Move Closer? As well as The Green Green Grass of Home by Tom Jones.
How many are just going to have Move?
Well, there's just so many. Clearly, and that's the best thing about it. So keep them coming in because it's certainly entertaining us this Monday morning. 81089 is the text number. You can also WhatsApp us on 03717 223344, where, if you're feeling brave enough, you could leave us a voice note so you could even sing your own interpretation and let us know what you think would work, certainly. Right. Shall we talk about the Open?
Yes.
Heading into the final round, Scotty Scheffler is in control of this final major of the year as he looks to win his first Open championship. A solid 67 yesterday means that the world number one is 4 shots clear of China's Li Haotong, with England's Matt Fitzpatrick a further shot behind, with Rory McIlroy at 8 under as well. So clearly, Cass, it is all about Scheffler. He is the man to beat. And this is quite ominous, this stat. The American has won the last 9 times he has held a 54-hole lead. Oh, sometimes, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because there's a number of golfers waking up who are still involved in this one who know they're not in contention at all. But there's obviously still things to play for, I'm sure. But the ones that are close, but maybe like a Rory McIlroy, what's he, 8 under? So he's
8 under, 6
off the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's best sometimes. Is it best to be the chaser or the person being chased?
Well, it would, if the weather was, difficult conditions today, you'd think, well, anything can happen. But if it's like it was yesterday, Scotty Scheffler's par is 67.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see him not going over par. And it nearly got going yesterday, Nat, because Rory started straight out the blocks and got, a couple of birdies early on. It felt like something was happening. Look, all the excitement was with Rory, but Scheffler just does what he does brilliantly.
Yeah. Well, let's get more on this then. Delighted to say we are now joined by golfer Andrew Beef Johnson. Andrew, how are you?
Andrew?
I'm good. How's it going?
Yeah.
Good,
well, it's great, Andrew. I've got to be honest. I mean, we were talking about boxing and Usyk and dominance, and then we were watching Scotty Scheffler yesterday, and Rory's tried to make that charge, but it's been really difficult because Scheffler is just so consistent.
He's so impressive. I mean, just nothing seems to faze him, and after a bit of a slower start, the par 5, didn't it? It didn't even look bothered, wasn't even phased, and just carried on. And you talk about that elite mindset, same as Usyk and stuff. Nothing seems to faze them and stuff, and they've got a plan. They know what they're doing. They stick to it, and nothing really bothers them. It's incredible to watch.
Andrew, can I just ask you, you've been a player and you've been in the chasing pack with someone who's leading, and that feeling, because everybody's just having, I said, are the conditions good, if it was difficult or, but it feels like here, I can't imagine him falling off a cliff in the final round.
Now, you can't see it. It is golf. It can happen. I mean, today could get really interesting, if you guys make a few birdies early on and see what happens. He might just stroll it. You never know. But it's golf, and it's a tough game. And although they're putting some good scores around Portrush, I'm not sure what the wind's going to be like later on. But you just never know. You just never know. But I kind of call it like a shell. You can kind of go into a shell when you let sort of nerves, and you kind of get a bit too defensive. And I think that's what the best players do week in, week out. They never get into that shell very often. They're just so bold all the time. And again, after watching yesterday, you think, well, maybe if he makes a couple bogeys early on, is he going to sort of slow down? And you just never know. It's a tough game. And I think if Rory can get going early and the crowds, you never know.
I asked this to Cass just before you joined us about in this situation. I mean, listen, he's got a great record, recent record especially, about leading at a 54 hole in the sense that he's won the last times he's led after 54 holes. But what's better, to be the chaser or being chased?
Oh, you always got to take the lead.
Yeah.
4-shot lead, you always got to be in the lead. I mean, his mentality, I think, will be, if he goes round and he shoots 1 or 2 under, someone's got to shoot at least 5-6 under to catch him around a difficult golf course.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd want to be in the lead, and like you said, even if he drops a couple of shots, it doesn't matter that much. He's still going to probably be heading into the back 9 with a great chance. And you always kind of say to yourself, when you're in that position, even if the round's not going too well, would I have taken this maybe a shot lead at the start of the week with 9 holes to go? Absolutely. It's all to play for. So, yeah, definitely take his position.
Andrew, one of the bizarrest moments I've ever seen in golf was the Rory shot where he hits the ball and then another ball appears as he hits it. How does that... I mean, obviously it's been plugged and been there for years, I'm sure, this particular ball. The next story is going to be, we've got to find out whose ball that was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this was a strange thing. This happened at Wentworth last year to me. I hit it at one of the holes in a bunker. My ball was plugged in the bunker, and it was so plugged. I've called the rules official over, and he said, just check it's your ball. So I've checked it. I've then hit it out sideways, but as I've hit it, this tailor-made ball has popped out with all the logos on it, and my brain's gone, my brain's gone, oh no, I've hit the wrong ball. I've hit the wrong ball. How have I done this? Even though I've checked it. And again, it was a ball under there. So I don't know if there was that split second where like it confused Rory at all or anything.
Well,
but yeah, it is strange how that can happen.
Yeah. I was laughing because I wasn't sure. Even if there was a penalty in that, I'm thinking, there's so many bizarre golf rules anyway. Yes. I'm thinking immediately, oh, is that hitting another ball, a two-shot penalty? So that's in my mindset, and I'm not sure even Rory would have known.
That's a proper golfer's mindset as well, worrying about, is there some rule that's like 100 years old that you're going to call a two-shot penalty on yourself? It's a proper good golfer's mentality, that.
Well, talking of two-stroke penalty, I know we're slightly moving off today in the final round and everything, but obviously you saw what happened with Shane Lowry and that movement when he was at the 12th, wasn't it? Yesterday or no, day before, wasn't it?
Day before, yeah.
Friday. Yeah. And he ended up with a two-stroke penalty because he had that practice swing and the ball moved by, well, I mean, I don't know what you're talking, millimetres are we talking? I don't know.
Oh, tiny.
It seemed so, I mean, he himself was like, I didn't even notice it move. And he was very quick to say, look, I'm never going to go through any kind of appeals procedure because I don't want to be declared a cheat. But my goodness, that seemed very harsh.
It's brutal. I was listening to some of the commentary on that, and they all said the same thing, that he's getting filmed shot by shot in slow-mos everywhere. You can pick everything up. This could happen 2-3 times every day with someone, especially where the rough is so long and it's all sort of like people have walked on it, it's bent over. It can happen so often, and you generally, you don't see it. You wouldn't see that. He's having a practice swing, looking at the holes, trying to picture his shot. He's not even looking at the ball. It's a harsh rule. And I think sometimes in golf, these rules can be way too harsh. But he hasn't gained an advantage on the field.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we need to draw back on that and go, look, he's not gaining any advantage.
No.
I don't think it should be a two-shot penalty.
No. I think many were in agreement about that as well. But dem de rules, golf is the problem.
Golf is the most severe out of all sport. I could tell. There was a guy, a golfer you might know, I might have heard of him, called Mike McLean. Okay, he'd won the Dutch Open. He'd already won. I think he won the Portuguese, and he lost the Dutch Open because someone had, I think it was on Eurosport at the time, said he'd played a shot off a twig that was live. It was live, and it was so. But he played it and then got a two-shot penalty. But you actually see him putting his arms up in the air, got into the clubhouse, and a two-shot penalty because someone had spotted something on TV.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible.
And that's how harsh
and
golf
you're talking
is.
Millimeters.
Yeah.
You're talking millimeters. And again, I do think there needs to be something where you go, like, you have that debate. Is it an advantage? No, let's crack on. Let's play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of time wasting with that as well. Golf is slow enough as it is, isn't it, Andrew? 6-hour rounds we've seen.
I think around that golf course, and this is again like the big topic of the ball being rolled back. It's everyone's hitting it further. So now everyone's waiting on every par 5 because they're hitting it in 2. You've got the driver ball 5th hole, 17 you can get close.
Yeah.
There. So people are always wary on the tee if it's downwind, going, I don't really want to hit a ball down there and put anyone off in front. So now you're just getting these hold-ups. And once it happens early in the tournament, early in the day, they just get slower and slower, and they get backed up as they go along. A bit like the M25, I would say.
Look, before we let you go, Andrew, as we were saying, it's all about Scotty Scheffler today and what he does out there. But if there was someone you're looking at who could maybe make a sneaky charge, who should we be looking at for, do you reckon?
Oh, I think there's a few guys. I think, look, Hao Tong Lee is a superb player. And again, you can see him. He could shoot 66, see what happens. Rory's obviously in the mix. Hatton's in the mix. Fitzpatrick, there's loads of top quality players just behind. And it only takes one of them to have that amazing round. And again, like I said earlier, you just never know. It's golf. It's a hard game.
Where did this Gotter Up come from?
Oh, yeah. What a great name.
Where did Gotter Up come from? It seems like he's appeared from nowhere and playing brilliant golf.
Yeah, again, being out of the game for a few years, it's amazing. It's amazing in golf. You can feel so far away from playing majors, playing tournaments, and all of a sudden you have a period of 6 months, a year of playing great golf, and all of a sudden you break into top 100, top 50. He obviously won last week, Scottish Open. And it can happen really quick in golf. All you need is a good few months, good couple of wins, and your career changes path very quickly. And I think that's something in golf where it keeps you coming back as a professional, because a good few months here can completely change your career.
Indeed. Well, as you mentioned, Chris Gotterup, he is with a clutch of players at 8 under alongside Rory McIlroy. So another one to look out for. I mean, it's certainly a story would be if someone like a Hatton or a Fitzpatrick were to win, because it's been so long since the Open has had an English winner, Andrew.
Yeah, it has. It has. I don't know if there's always that added pressure, feeling like a home major for the guys. It has been a long time. Maybe we'll see it. Like you said, it all depends on Scheffler. It really does. If he comes out and he shoots 69, I mean, it's so hard to catch him with the 4-shot lead. But like I said, you never know, and hopefully, we can be watching it later today. And there's a few guys up there, and it's close.
Yeah.
How's your game? Just briefly, Andrew, how's your game?
I'm getting there. Yeah. Rehab's going well. I'm hitting it probably about, 130, 40 yards at the moment, which is good. So slowly making strides. Lots of short game at the moment, lots of chipping, lots of putting. So, yeah, I'm aiming for November return. So
good.
That's the aim.
Brilliant. That's what we love to hear. Thank you for being with us today, and best of luck with it all.
Cheers, Andrew.
Cheers. Have a good one, guys.
That's great to have you with us. That's Andrew Beef Johnston. Then just
lovely, Matt. Have you met him? I spoke to him.
Well, I just spoke to him.
No, I mean, exactly. I mean, off
no,
air.
I don't think I have.
I've chatted to him a couple of times. Really nice guy. Really laid back, and and has been very optimistic, because he's had his struggles, but he's been really. I actually hope that he comes back to golf, because he's a character.
Yeah. Oh gosh, absolutely.
He can get his game back.
Brilliant to have him back. So, and it looks like he's doing everything he can to get back as well. And by the way, I mean, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But James, thank you very much for highlighting. He was like, surely Beef has got some good music buns. I mean, how... It's weird how the world works. We start talking about cows and then we're joined by beef. It's brilliant. Right. Anyway, don't forget, we are bringing you full live commentary of the Open Championship at Royal Portrush, the 4th and final round coming your way today. There's a whole host of excellent names who'll be right across it for you, from Marcus Buckland to Sophie Walker. There's Alison Walker. I mean, goodness me, there's plenty of people. Also our very own Rupert Bell as well. And we will have updates from Rupert, from Sean O'Brien, and from Gabby Partington throughout the day here on talkSPORT 2. But talkSPORT 2 will have full live commentary of that final round. And I'm just going to quickly find it. The first go out cast, we know when? Here we go. The first go out at 8:30 this morning, with the final pairing, which sees Scheffler with Hao Tong going out at 2:30. Oh, it's a long day.
Mickelson's one of the early ones out. He'll be
Phil Mickelson. Shall I have a look where he?
He's one of the early ones out. I think Phil.
A second out. Yeah, indeed. Right, we're going to take a break, and when we return, we're going to bring you the very latest on the athletics with the Diamond League that was taking place at the London Stadium yesterday. morning to you. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. It's the Crockenhill legend that is Tony Cascarino, who is with me, Natalie Sawyer. And here are some of your headlines today. Alexander Usyk put down Daniel Dubois twice in the 5th round to further cement his place as one of boxing's best ever, as he became a 2-time unified world heavyweight champion. Scotty Scheffler continued his imperious march towards a first Open Championship title with a 3rd round 67, did I say?
Yeah, 67. He was 4 under. Yeah, 71 par.
Yes.
You're right now.
And the British and Irish Lions won the first test against the Wallabies in Brisbane yesterday. And, well, we'll get a few people's takes on that one, but certainly it seems as though, apart from a sort of lacking concentration towards the end of that first test, it was a very comfortable win, really, for the Lions.
It was misleading, the scoreline.
Yeah, we'll get more on that, as I say, a little bit later on. But our focus right now is on a sellout crowd of 60,000 that packed into the London Stadium for a spectacular edition of the Diamond League. Plenty of British athletes rose to the occasion, one of which is Georgia Hunter-Bell, who stormed to victory in the women's 800 metres, clocking a season's best. Charlie Dobson stunned the field in the men's 400 metres with a personal best of 44.14, and Morgan Lake sought to win in the high jump ahead of some of the world's best. Let's get straight to it, because our man in the know who was there is talkSPORT's athletics reporter John Cushing, who joins us. How are you, John? Morning.
Hi, John.
Morning, Nat. Morning, Cass. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Very well. So tell us about this day yesterday. First of all, the weather at some point. I mean, surely everyone was running for cover, because I got caught in the rain. It was awful.
Yeah, it wasn't the best start to the morning. It was absolutely soggy and wet, and everyone was wearing cagoules, and you were sweaty underneath it, and it was just horrible. It was horrible, but a typical Saturday summer day in Britain, frankly, where you'd seen the Lions win, as you saw. The golf was going on, but there were 60,000 fans, and the biggest athletics one-day event in the world this year, and it's in London, and it came on the morning that the government finally put its hand in its pocket and said, yeah, we're going to back the London 2029 World Athletics Championships
Great.
as well. So it was a great start, apart from the weather, and that was the only thing the organisers couldn't do. And then you've picked up some of the headlines there from a British point of view, Nat, that we had some amazing wins for Charlie Dobson. That was he was 50 with about 50 metres to go. He was 7th, and he came through. And unfortunately, Matthew Hudson-Smith, you remember this in Paris, Nat. He finished 2nd, of course, to a fast-finishing American in the Olympics. Well, he was beaten again by Dobson, who came through and actually set his personal best of 44.14, which is only 2nd behind Matthew Hudson-Smith in the whole of Europe ever. Wow. That's the fastest ever that a European has run, just behind Matthew Hudson-Smith, who broke the record last year. So that was incredible. And Georgia Hunter-Bell, yeah, you mentioned her. She, of course, trains with Keely Hodgkinson, the Olympic champion, who's out injured at the moment in the 800 metres. Georgia Bell won a bronze in the Paris Olympics in the 1500 metres. But no Keely, no problem, because Hunter-Bell won by more than a second ahead of the field. And I spoke to her afterwards, and I said, so are you going to go for the 800? Because we know you're a 1500 metres runner. And she said, look, actually 800 is my favourite. The actual 800 metre field in the world this year is slightly easier than it was last year, because Keely's not around at this moment. We hope she'll be back for the World Athletics Championships. But then she said that she's going to speak to our old friend Dame Kelly Holmes for a bit of advice for a doubling up maybe at the World Championships in Tokyo in the 800 and 1500 metres. So watch out for Georgia Hunter-Bell, the 31-year-old who left athletics, came back for the Olympics, won that Olympic, got a bronze medal, and now could she be a world champion in Tokyo in September? Fingers crossed.
A fantastic day then, as you say, and not just British athletes, of course, competing. Noah Lyles was there, but didn't come through to win 100.
Yeah, look, Noah Lyles is a great showman, and it was a delight to have him there. I spoke to him on Friday for the pre-press conference, and I spoke to him again after the race yesterday. He's getting to know talkSPORT now, which is great, and he said to me afterwards, look, I've been injured. This was my first 100 metres of the year. He's the Olympic champion. He won in Monaco a couple of weeks ago in the 200 metres, but that was his fastest ever 100 metres in his first race of the season. So 10 seconds flat. But as you say, he was beaten by a Jamaican who was, I think, 8th in the Olympic final. And we know how tight that Olympic final was, that Lyles virtually won it with the size of his chest as he burst through in the line in Paris a year ago. So Oblique Seville, the 24-year-old from Kingston in Jamaica, won the race, and quite convincingly. It was a sluggish start from Noah Lyles, and I loved the way that Oblique came across the line and put his finger to his mouth with a very shush to everybody else. It was a great win for him. And just a quick word on the fastest woman in the world, Julian Alfred, as well. She broke a personal best and a national record as well for St. Lucia. She is the Olympic champion in the 100 metres. She won the 200 metres yesterday, 21.71, just ahead of Dina Asher-Smith and Amy Hunt as well.
John,
British women's relay were brilliant as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, I was jumping in there.
That's all right.
I'm getting a little bit nostalgic because sometimes things are long overdue, and that was the presentation to Roger Black, Ewan Thomas, the 4x4 400-metre runners in '97. Tell us about that, because that's a long time overdue.
28 years. I said it was great, but I also said to them, is it slightly ridiculous that you're getting this gold medal at 28 years? So it was Athens, the World Championships in 1997. You're absolutely right. Ewan Thomas, Roger Black, Jamie Bolsh, Matt Richardson, and also Mark Hilton, who was part of the heats as well. They were beaten by the Americans in '97. Unfortunately, they were then banned for doping allegations about 10 years later, and they've never really got this medal. And then COVID happened, and they weren't going to get it. But they finally got them all together, and Seb Coe, the World Athletics president, handed it over today, and they had the national anthem going on as well in the stadium, and a standing ovation. 60,000 people literally got to their feet for Roger Black and the team. It was brilliant.
Yeah, great.
Very, very special indeed. And it'd be great, as you mentioned, to get the World Athletic Championships in the UK. As you say, the government now supporting that bid for the 2029 championship. It would be amazing to have that over here, because, as you say, 60,000 at the London Stadium for the Diamond League yesterday. The appetite is there for athletics.
Well, we saw that in 2012.
Well, of course,
yeah.
but it's always well supported athletics over here for sure. John, I can't believe it's approaching nearly a year since we all met up in Paris for those games. What a year it was, or what a time it was in Paris, but what a year it's been as well. Thank you for being with us, John.
Cheers, John.
Bye-bye. Have you with us. That was John Cushing, our athletics reporter, and the Diamond League proving to be a success once more. Right. In the next hour, we're going to continue to react to a whole host of sport that happened yesterday. Plus, we're going to hear from a West Ham striker who our very own Adrian Durham bumped into in Switzerland.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58, though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed, though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. I'm Natalie Sawyer, and with me it is the former Marseille and Nancy striker, Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Alexander Usyk became a 2-time undisputed world champion last night after defeating Daniel Dubois by knockout. Here's how the winning moment sounded on talkSPORT.
But Usyk will look to finish it. Goes in with the right hook, misses with the left, but he's not in a huge left hand. Again, he's down once more, and I think it's going to be all over this time. Dubois is at the count of 8, 9, and the fight is over. The towel comes in, but it was finished anyway. Usyk has shown that he is absolutely in another class.
We'll have more on that, as we will with the British and Irish Lions, who started their series off with a win against the Wallabies, beating them 27-19 in Brisbane. This is what the captain, Mara Itoje, had to say on the performance.
Today was a good performance, particularly the first half. You know, when you play test match rugby at this level, everything doesn't go your way, and that was, you know, probably the story of the second. But as Big Fat said, absolutely delighted to win, absolutely delighted to get this test series off to a...
And could Marcus Rashford be on the move? talkSPORT sources can confirm Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle with Barcelona for the United forward. The deal is looking to be a loan with an option to buy, with Barca covering all of his wages. The latest transfer news will be on the way in this show. We are also asking for you to get involved this morning on the best songs that you would use to soothe cows. Yes, there's a scientific study that was revealed in the Daily Star, the Gospel, on what kind of music gets the best milk production out of them, and it was all down to calming music. Yeah. That seemed to be what the suggestion was. There's a Kiwi Junior has on X messaged me to say, if you go on YouTube, type in "man plays music for cows," you will see a guy sitting down in a chair in a field. He starts to play the trombone. A minute later, 30 plus cows are coming over the hill to see him playing, and they're sort of wagging their tails and all that malarkey, so they're very, very happy. Speaking of X, all-round good chap has messaged me to say any song by Mariah Dairy would work. Love it. This one from Bob in Devon, he goes for "to milk cows, why not go with ABBA's Mamma Mua?" Here we go again. Love it. Love it. Tony in Manchester's gone for, I love this one as well, "An Udder One Bites the Dust." Udder One Bites the Dust. A few have kind of gone down the moon route. Paul from Manchester, "Moon River."
Yeah.
"Blue Moon" has also been mentioned. James has also said, what about "Under the Bridge" by the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yes. Which is under the bridge, yeah. Under the bridge.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. And also, just quickly, before we hear from one of our lovely voice notes that's been left, I have to go with this one. Tony in Manchester. "Pasture Duchy on the left-hand side." Pasture.
Yeah.
Love it. As I also said, if you were brave enough, you could leave us a voice note to maybe sing that song that you think would be perfect. And that's what, well, I hope that's what Jonathan's done.
How about this one? "I've got the moves like Jagger, the moves like Jagger, the moves like Jagger."
Oh, Jonathan, that's fabulous. Thank you very, very much. Feel free to let us know what you think would be perfect for relaxing music for cows, just to make sure we get the best milk production from them.
Knock.
Oh, God, am I meant to ask who's there?
Cows go.
Cows go.
No, cows go moo.
God, so did you just look that up?
No.
How the hell?
No, it's an old stupid
I've never heard
joke.
that before in my life. But
Never?
No, never heard that, but
It's
I
the
like
old
it.
silly. It's the most oldest, silliest knock joke.
I've never heard that before.
Knock. Who's there? Cows go. Cows go who? No, cows go moo.
I love that. I've not heard that before at all. Right. Keep them coming into us. You are delivering, and we do very much appreciate that. But I'm not talking about a milkman delivering, but we do appreciate everything that you've been sending us in so far, and there's loads more for us to get through too. Right. Let's talk about, a striker that our very own Adrian Durham had run into in Switzerland, out covering the Euros for us. He ran into West Ham's Nicholas Füllkrug after their friendly versus Grasshoppers, where they won 3-1 yesterday. The German striker reflected on how disappointing last season ended up being for the Hammers and said the team are working towards a strong start to this new upcoming Premier League season.
It's not good to speak loud or big words. I think we have to prove that's the most important thing. We have to prove in the first games to show what we are able to do, and when we do that, we can start to speak about aimed goals or something. But first, we want to show that we want to make our fans proud, that we want to show a good face for West Ham United, and that's very important for us as a team, because last year was, of course, disappointing for everyone. But we don't want to speak anymore about the last year. It's the past. We are here now, and we look in the future. We enjoy to work very hard. We have a good group. I'm very happy with the group right now, and I hope you will see it also on the pitch, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that was Nicholas Füllkrug speaking to our very own Adrian Durham then. And last season wasn't particularly great for West Ham. They started with Julian Lopetegui in charge, then Graham Potter came in to replace him, and it felt like they never really got going under Potter. But now, like any manager will say, and Ruben Amorim was one of these that wanted to start this summer at United rather than when he ended up doing so, they always need that pre-season. So this pre-season, like it is for anyone, but obviously vitally important for Potter.
It is, and there's a lot of disillusioned West Ham fans.
Really?
Well, there are.
Yeah, no.
And they were disillusioned. I mean, look, Nicholas Füllkrug there speaking. He had his first season in the Premier League, and it was blighted by injuries, for him.
Yeah.
So he's hopefully you'll see the very best of him for West Ham this year. But there's, transfer activity and, the way they were playing. I saw West Ham 2 or 3 times towards the end of last season at the London Stadium. The atmosphere was really flat, Nat. And I get it. Graham Potter's side never really got going. Entertainment has always sort of been a given for West Ham. You feel like you have to entertain the fans. And, they've had that period, I would say, of it just feels like it's transitional, that has not really got the faithful excited. It really needs an injection of a bit more oomph in their way they play. The manager's got to win over the fans because it's flat. West Ham needs that type of atmosphere. I played at Upton Park a few times, at Bowling Ground, and I remember thinking this really is like your 12th man at West Ham at times. You felt like that when you were playing there on the opposition. And it's a difficult one because there's a lot of lack of enthusiasm going into this season on behalf of West Ham fans. I've got a few mates who are West Ham fans,
right,
and they're all just thinking, what sort of season is it going to be? And hopefully Graham Potter can get a pre-season behind him, work with a team, get some sort of side that's going to make some sort of efforts to really be a much better team than they were last year, because they were so disappointing. I mean, apart from Bowen, I thought Wan-Bissaka had a really good year. Played really well for them. Come from Manchester United. It could have easily gone the other way for him. He had a great season. Kudus now gone. It feels like the club feel a lot in limbo to me. Just in limbo about many things that are happening at the club.
Yeah. The Kudus
spent a lot of money last year, in the transfer market, didn't they? 130, 50 million.
The Kudus one is quite interesting because obviously last season wasn't a great season for him. The first season was better, as we know. But last season certainly wasn't great. So I sort of wonder if some West Ham fans were, I don't want to say delighted, but were a bit like, well, if Tottenham want to pay the money for him, we'll happily see him go, in the sense of it just didn't quite deliver. But there's also a part of me that thinks, I wonder if there's a slight disappointment as well, because you're thinking, well, he might have actually, if we had another pre-season with Potter now, we might have seen the original Kudus, the Kudus that was talked about at the World Cup, that a lot of people were glowing about. Yeah,
I don't know on that one, Nat. I'm not sure if his heart was really in it. His second season didn't even get close to the season before. Yeah. He was nowhere near that. I don't deny it, he's a really good footballer, very gifted, but I don't think he gave his absolute all for West Ham last year. And he's ended up going. Hopefully West Ham can benefit. So it's a very weird one talking about West Ham, because I just don't see any good news there. The Antonio accident, last year, which obviously disrailed the sort of, the club out slightly. Fulku got injured. And the best thing they've done is they haven't sold Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
It's the best thing so far that they've managed to keep him, because if he wasn't, he's been, he's not, to me, he doesn't seem to want to rock boats or anything like that, cause problems. He's happy at West Ham. It seems all like he was going to give his absolute all. That shows by his performance, because he's led that football club, really done well. So hopefully it's better days for him.
I'm sort of just looking at their first few fixtures. There are Sunderland away as their opening game before they have a London derby with Chelsea to look forward to. Then they head to Forest. Then subsequent London derbies see them host Tottenham and Palace. They've got a number. I mean, obviously there's a lot of London clubs in the Premier League, to be fair. But first up, they are facing quite a few of them. There's Arsenal, Brentford as well, up until that's just after the October international break. So there's quite a few games that many fans, especially the ones at home, they'll be hoping they can get something out of them. But as I mentioned, and we mentioned, that they just didn't get going under Potter, and it just feels as though this summer is really, really important for them to get things right, and also the right players in, because let's also remember they've lost a few players that contracts ran out who have left.
Do you know what's really weird? I went there, like I said, 2 or 3 times before the end of the season. You arrive at Westfield, the shopping centre. Stratford, you get there, and all the bars are really busy, the atmosphere.
It's a vibrant place.
It's really vibrant. Yeah. You get in the stadium, it's flat.
Yeah.
It feels like they get sucked out of the fans. I mean, Graham Potter's got to win over the fans with the type of football as well. He's got to be able to do that. Give them, because there was West Ham fans who were sitting there and going, What are we watching? Well,
I think
I'm not
ultimately-
enjoying this. It's not entertainment.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But I think ultimately as well, the London Stadium is just not a home.
That adds a number. But all the atmosphere's
not been their
outside
home.
that, leading up to the stadium. It's where all the atmosphere is.
Yeah, but you're so far away from the pitch where you sit. It's pretty mad around there, that's for sure. And as you know, a lot of West Ham fans unhappy that they even left Upton Park and moved to the London Stadium. But as I mentioned, they kick off their Premier League season away to Premier League new boys Sunderland, back in the big time Sunderland, and that's where they head to for their first game. Right, on the way next. Keep your messages coming into us because I tell you what, you are delivering. Skidder from Brierley Hill says, "Don't Churn Around" by Aswad.
Churn.
Don't churn around. That's a really good one.
Good
Fabulous. Good thought. I love that one. Keep them coming to us. As I say, you've all been brilliant, and I'll read some more out throughout. But on the way next, we'll pick out a couple of stories we want to highlight for you from the papers. Breakfast with a man who knows how to do a shampoo and set. That is Tony Cascarino. He's with me, Natalie Sawyer. Didn't even know this song existed.
No.
It's called Moo by the Grammy Award-winning artist Doja Cat. And we have been asking for you to get in touch with your own cow-related songs. I don't want to keep going on about it, but it's all down to the fact that science has showed us that if you want to produce milk with cows, play them soulful, soothing, calming music, because that seems to do the business for them. Andy has suggested a couple. He said anything by Cream. I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah, Cream.
Or Build Me Up Buttercup by the Foundations. Love that one.
Yeah.
This is from
Who's
Nick.
that by? Who's that by?
The Foundations.
Foundations, yes.
This is a good one as well. Nick, the LFC Red from Stockton Heath has gone for The Whole of the Moo by the Water Boys. There you go.
Yeah.
Jay has been in touch. I mean, he's not happy, clearly. He's finding this cow stuff very amusing. I like that one. Thank you too. Rowan from Manchester has gone with Can you veal the love tonight?
Veal.
Veal, I know. Who knew?
Really good. Really good.
Really good. There's so many that you've been bringing us. It's fabulous. I'm trying to see. There was another one. Talking of, where is it? Oh gosh, where is it? I've lost it. Oh right, Ebenezer Good, which you sort of mentioned, felt like you were saying. I don't know if you were. Although you're not going to change that, he was saying, why not just change the chorus to "Milk is good, milk is good." I quite like that one too.
Did you have milk at school now?
Oh yes.
Oh,
horrible. Because it was never kept in the fridge.
Yeah, it was always warm, wasn't it?
Horrid. Oh, it was, well, but it was something you had to have, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was just part of your school day. But yeah, never
Them
nice.
days are gone now.
Well, fair enough. By the way, Guy in Worcester has suggested Khaleesi's milkshake. Yeah. I mean, surely if they hear the word milk, they're going to want to produce. But you've also been sending in your voice notes to help us with this as well. This is what they've only said their name is CX has suggested.
Blue moon, I saw you standing alone.
That's short and sweet, but it works absolutely. The funny thing is that people are repetitive, as in they come back with something else. So Nick the LFC Red back in touch. He's gone
about
for
it again.
He's gone for I'm mooning on up. I'm mooning on. That's a good one. Why not? I mean, maybe not mooning. Let's go with mooing. I'm mooing on up because mooning is slightly different, but that's me. That's because I read it wrong, but it's definitely mooing.
Yeah, brilliant.
81089 is the text number. The WhatsApp is 03717223344. Be brave, sing us a song, and get in touch. Right, should we get to the papers, Cass? Do you want to tell us what you're going with today?
Well, I'm going to go with, it's in the Daily Mail, Chris Wheeler, and it wasn't meant to end this in this way. Rashford at United, but Barca move could relight the fire. And it's a really interesting article, Nat, because Marcus is at a place where he's not wanted, okay, and it's big style. He's the number one biggest name of the bomb squad.
Yeah.
He is. And look, it's talked in the upcoming days that he's going to be moving to Barcelona for a period of loan and then a big fee. But it's got to be for Marcus a redemption time for him because he has to go there and perform and a new challenge in front of him. I mean, I think it ended because there's a line in his piece which is spot on. It ended when this happened because it's talking about Amorim astonishingly claimed in January he would rather pick his goalkeeping coach George Vital 63 than play Rashford.
Wow.
Once you've used that line,
you can't come
and
back
you've
from
thrown
that.
there isn't anything because the player is rightly going to get really angry. Okay, and you can question all his commitment, desire and everything, but the fact that he's used that line as strong as it is, that a 63-year-old goalkeeping coach is going to play more than Rashford's going to play in this football club, he's telling you his disdain for Marcus Rashford. Yeah. We don't know what's happened behind the scenes. There's obviously a lot's gone on we don't know about, but this article is really about Marcus leaving, how it's all come about. And Marcus is partly to blame, I'll say probably a huge part to play in this, how this has ended so badly for him. You know, we're talking about a kid, a boy wonder at a football club, gone through all the systems at Old Trafford, and it's ended this badly for him that he was number one in the bomb squad.
Yeah. Your old mucker, Teddy.
Yes.
Sheringham has been on talkSPORT this week, and he was sort of suggesting that he doesn't deserve a move like this to Barcelona. Barcelona won a double last season, won the La Liga and the Copa del Rey as well. Does it surprise you that a team like Barcelona are looking at a Marcus Rashford, or as you say, is it just that they think he can get that redemption story with them?
Well, reignite his career, basically. I mean, I totally get what Teddy meant. He means that, you know, there was a time that you had to deserve that opportunity. You had to be rewarded by how you played at other places to get a move to Manchester United or Barcelona or Real Madrid, all these big clubs. You had to be of a certain quality, and Marcus hasn't played that and hasn't deserved the right even to stay at Manchester United. So Barcelona coming in his mindset, Teddy's, which I get, is how can he get that opportunity? Why has this come about? Because he's not played to the expectations that are at the Nou Camp.
Yeah.
And Marcus has fell well short. We all know what he's capable of his very best. But 7 years he's been at Old Trafford, I'd say I've seen two good ones. The other 5...
Quite damning.
Well, two good ones, a lot of indifference. in performances. So, yeah, he is fortunate. Make the most of it, Marcus. If I could say one thing in my career, I got given an opportunity to go and play Marseille. And I was lucky, but I went there with the absolute desire and hunger to try and prove other people wrong that had let me go, because I was deserved. It was right. I should have been let go by Chelsea. I didn't do well enough at the club, but there was a bit of redemption in there for me. Marcus has got to go there and prove a lot of people and Ruben Amorim wrong.
Okay. Well, from one forward to another, I'm taking you into the Sun this morning, and it's actually Dan King's column where he is speaking about Jamie Vardy and what's next for him. The headline is Vardy late to Big Six party. He thinks Dan King this is, one of the Prem giants should take a punt. I mean, he's not necessarily thinking, and I say one of the giants, he's not necessarily going with a Liverpool or an Arsenal, for example. But he is saying there is something about Jamie Vardy, who at 38 was still being relied upon at times for Leicester last season. I know the season didn't work out well, but his point is this is a fabulous pro that some club could still use, in the sense of not just a player that might come off the bench to score goals, but also just being a pro around the younger players, especially when you consider off the field he's had his issues. You know, he has had what was it here, but I'll find it. Oh gosh, can't find it, but he's had some issues off the pitch, hasn't he, where he's just thinking that he'd be a perfect role model for many. That's it. He once had to wear an electric tag and obey a curfew following a conviction for assault. So it's a redemption story that he's had in football that he thinks he could then help others with. But he's also saying that actually, if it's not going to be some of the giants at the top end of the table, why aren't the clubs who have come up perhaps not looking at a Jamie Vardy? Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland, sorry. He says, if they're not looking at Vardy, then they should be, because you're getting a reliable scorer, even one whose appearances most come from the bench, I should say, can be the difference between staying up and going back down. He is one of the very few players who can truly say they have seen pretty much everything in football, which is the good, the bad and the ugly. And I mean, I think many of us would have probably thought his time in the Premier League might have come to an end, but could you see him actually playing in the top flight still?
I think if there was a manager like Harry Redknapp around today, and Harry was the king at getting a player that's seen better days and getting a tune out of him again, delivering. But there isn't that type of manager. They're all coaches. 99% of them now are coaches, and they're not about individual management. And so I don't think there's a club that really would look at a player at 38. You know, remember he was on the bench a lot at Leicester when they were in the Championship, and played a part coming off the bench, scoring goals for Leicester in the Championship.
Yeah.
He's definitely lost half a yard, even though he's still quick. He's not as blisteringly quick as he once was. If it was a very short-term solution and it was January and it was halfway through a season and you had a glut of injuries, I could get why you bring Jamie Vardy in. But most clubs are rebuilding.
Yeah.
And I don't see Jamie being involved in a rebuilding plan at a football club.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? In the sense of, I get where Dan King is coming from, in the sense of the pro that you're getting, the potential role model that you're getting. And if I liken it to my club, who've just signed Jordan Henderson, obviously they're very different positions on the pitch, but I kind of see why sometimes it's good to bring in someone with experience, who's been there, who's done it, who's won plenty. And Vardy has won some of the big things, let's not forget, in football, specifically here in England. But sometimes I get it. Sometimes you're bringing in a leader that sometimes you are lacking in a team.
So,
but I'm not sure where he would fit.
Well, Leicester have been prepared to let him go. Okay? So they've decided, even if they go down, if they'd have wanted to keep him and go, okay, we can't pay you the wages you're on in the Premier League, but we'll pay you this to stay one more year at Leicester in the Championship, try and help play a part in keeping us up. That option wasn't even given to him. So Leicester have completely parted their ways from Jamie Vardy. I mean, I don't know all the detail of it, but that clearly to me hasn't happened. They've gone and said, oh, whatever he's on, instead of say 120 grand a week, say, look, we'll pay you 40 in the Championship. We'll give you 40 grand a week. Stay with us one more year. Be the leader at the football club. We need to rebuild, and we want you to be part of it.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to play a number of games. Whether it's on the bench or not, you're going to play a part. We'll give you this. That hasn't even been done. So I don't see where where the next place could be. I think it's going to be obviously a huge change in career and finance. So that's only normal when you get to 38, 39.
Yeah. Okay. Just a couple of stories then that we thought we'd highlight for you in the papers today. On the way next, we'll concentrate on the Winter Gardens in Blackpool as the PDC World Matchplay darts continues. And there was a shock last night too.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earned 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Good morning, this is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. It is the former Nancy let's start with Crocodile as well. Striker Tony Cascarino, who is with me.
We got a message yesterday, didn't we? Do you remember the message I got?
I do. Go on. Do you want to flag it up?
Well, no, you're the one who mentioned it.
Yeah, but you're the one that got the message.
Oh, okay.
It's not my place, unless you don't want to say.
Well, no, he praised you. Chris Wilder sent in Crocodile with a big love heart, didn't he?
He did.
Yes,
he did.
Because he lived in Swanley, which is very close, which is obviously in the southeast, and it's more Kent than London. But Crokinole is a village from Swanley, and Chris lived in Swanley in his younger days. Even though he was brought up in Sheffield,
right.
but he lived in Swanley.
Gotcha.
And that's how
I knew.
Well, I told you before, his close friend, Johnny Maloney, babysat, and John's a friend of mine. He babysat Chris Wilder when he was younger, when he was a little boy. That's how the connection come.
There you go. We're with you until 10 o'clock this morning, and just to let you know, we love to give you a competition. Here's another one for you. Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener. Hopefully you've got enough mates for this one. I'm sure you have, because we're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your friends on August the 22nd with full hospitality, plus we're chucking in 10 grand as well, spending money, which is completely tax-free. I know. I mean, my salary's not gone up. I don't understand it. That'll be why, then, because we're giving it away. Here's how you enter. It's 18 and over, UK excluding Northern Ireland, I'm afraid. For a chance to win, you can text the word WIN to 83338, and that's by the 4th of August at 11 p.m, and that's it. You're in the draw. Texts do cost £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can post your name and address to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP. That has to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. It's a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's to apply for this one, and it's at talksport.com. Best of luck. Right, let's turn our attentions to a huge shock that took place at the Winter Gardens on the opening night of the World Matchplay in Blackpool. The world number 1 and defending champion Luke Humphries is out after he was beaten by the 23-year-old Ian van Veen 10-8 in what the young Dutchman is calling the biggest win of my career. Why are you looking at me?
I'm just like, because his name again?
I think Ian van Veen.
Oh. Right.
I don't know. I think it is. Humphries was aiming to become just the 4th player to retain the title, but struggled on the doubles. Couldn't shake off that fearless Van Veen, as we were mentioning, who held his nerve to close it out. Joining us then to look back on that shock and to see what else is to look forward to, it's our very own Ian Danter. How are you, Dance? Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, guys. Nice to see you.
Did I get that right? Is it Ian van Veen?
Jan van Veen.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well,
right, I got maybe part of it right.
I never correct Natalie very often because it's 99% Natalie's right and I'm wrong.
Van Veen makes sense. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Obviously, you were there. Tell us all about it.
It was a real nip and tuck game between the two of them. There was occasions where Van Veen had broken Humphries' throat, but Humphries came roaring back. He was 2-0 down, went 3-2 up. They were 5-all at the second mini break, and then they just duked it out from that point on. And then suddenly Van Veen just found a little bit of extra form and ended up winning it 10-8. And they were both posting near 100 averages between them. There was very little between them in the averages. The difference was Van Veen's finishing was so much better than Luke's. And yeah, it was a brilliant game of darts, but Luke can have no complaints about how he was beaten in the end, really.
Dance, I mean, Van Veen has been mentioned as a potential star of the sport as well, hasn't he? So this is not a really big upset, as in people know his quality already.
They do. He went out last year at this stage to Rob Cross, and he was very narrowly beaten then, and he played well that night. And Van Veen was in a World Youth Final against one Luke Littler only a couple of years back. So the PDC and darts fans have been aware of his career trajectory, which obviously hasn't been quite as alarmingly quick as Luke's has, Luke Littler that is, but nevertheless his quality's there. He did beat Luke Humphries to win one of the Players' Championship events earlier this season, so he already knew what it took to beat the world number 1. But yeah, he was very cool, calm and collected up there on what was a pretty sort of sultry night in the Winter Gardens, quite humid and heavy in terms of atmosphere, but he brushed it off and was absolutely terrific. But yes, people know about him already, Tony, and it's a shock that Cool Hand has gone out. But when we looked at the draw, we thought he had one of the toughest draws against the unseeded players in picking Van Veen out of the hat.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who knows what it's like to beat a favourite in a darts competition, it's absolutely fantastic to see this. But actually, it turned out last night to be a good night for the Netherlands.
Yes, it did. Danny Noppert had won his game against Cameron Menzies, who had a debut to forget on the Winter Garden stage. He miscounted at one point when he was on 178 and hit a 180 when he should have been laying up for a double, and Cameron didn't find his way back into the game. So Danny Noppert, very efficient. And then Vessel Nyman, another youngster on debut at the Winter Gardens, who looked very nervous when he came onto the stage, but ended up knocking out the 2023 champion, Nathan Aspinall. Another excellent performance from him. Really good doubling, really good finishing. So, yeah, the Dutch had one heck of a night last night. You're right, Natalie.
So what we got to look forward to today, Dan? There's a number of matches on.
Yeah, we've got 2 sessions today, Cass. The first of which starts at 1 o'clock on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel, which you can get on your YouTube, subscribe and like and all that sort of stuff. We've got 4 games this afternoon, starting with Damon Heta against Andrew Gilding. Then you've got Rob Cross, a former matchplay champion, taking on Dirk van Duijvenbode, another Dutchman, in the draw. Then you've got another guy from the Netherlands, Jermaine Wattermina, who's never won at the Winter Gardens in previous appearances, taking on another former champion in Peter Wright. And then Dave Chisnell, one of the nearly men of the PDC, who's never won a major tournament, always seems to come close, but never quite gets over the line. He takes on Mike De Decker, who won a major last year. So that's this afternoon. And all of those games have a bit of a coin flip element to them. Maybe, apart from Wright Wattermina, I would suggest that Peter Wright's a good short price favourite for that one. And then in the evening, Gary Anderson, another former matchplay champion, is in action. So too Luke Littler against Ryan Searle. And my colleague Paul Nicholson thinks that Ryan Searle has more than a puncher's chance of knocking Luke Littler out the same way that Humphreys was knocked out by Van Veen last night.
Ooh. More shocks potentially than on the cards. But it'd be wrong of us to not just chat, if you don't mind, a bit of EFL, because it's not long. Because in fact, 3 weeks' time, the first round of EFL fixtures will have taken place involving your beloved Birmingham, kicking off against Ipswich Friday night. I just wanted to feel how you're feeling about the season back in the Championship.
It's great to be back. It was a terrific season in League One last year, and the signings that have been made so far by Chris Davies are exciting. Kyogo Furuhashi is a really top quality signing to play up front. Asai Samuel coming in on either flank as a wing back or right back, terrific. Tommy Doyle getting him on loan from Wolves is a really good capture too. So there's lots to be positive about, and I only hope, Natalie, that we have the sort of Championship season that casts to history the previous 9 or 10 Championship seasons we'd had, where it was circling the plug hole before we finally dropped a couple of years ago. It wasn't pleasant viewing for the most part, but there's a real groundswell of positivity around the place. You know, there's the new stadium in the offing, a new sports quarter that's going to be built not too far from St Andrews, just a stone's throw from there, and the place is selling out now. And that certainly wasn't the case if you only go back 3 years. So, yeah, great positivity. But Ipswich is a very, very tough fixture to start the season with, live on talkSPORT on the Friday night. So fingers crossed from my perspective that we get off to a decent start.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey for Birmingham City fans, hasn't it, Dance? Like you said, the dark days of where it seemed like the stadium was half full, no money, players leaving, quite readily to move on elsewhere. It feels like now it's an attractive club that having a new stadium on the horizon. It's amazing with the investment, what you can get from new owners if they drive the club forward and know the potential of the club.
That's right. The potential's always there with a club like Birmingham, which, they know they could get 29,000 in there. They're planning on increasing the support so that by the time they move into a much bigger stadium, the support is there to fill that stadium too. Tom Wagner has been a very positive force for good in uniting the fan base, because honestly, under previous regimes, fans fighting amongst themselves, those that were there, the stadium was falling apart. The bottom half of the Tilton Road and the Cop stands were deemed unsafe and needed repairs. There was no hot water in the toilet. Just everything about the stadium was falling apart, and the team was falling apart on the pitch. There was metaphors everywhere you look. So now it's a much stronger, more together collective, from board through to management, through to players, through to staff, through to fans. Suddenly everybody's on the same page, and it's been a long time coming, but it's lovely to see.
Yeah, lots more positivity then to come too, hopefully. Dan, thank you.
Cheers,
Enjoy
Dan.
the Winter Gardens. You'll be able to listen in to Dance then as he helps to provide live commentary of the World Matchplay Championship heading into the second day of action. As he mentioned there, you can first of all start by tuning into the Darts YouTube channel. That's the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. And then the evening session will be brought to you on talkSPORT 2 as well as on YouTube. So you've got Ian Danter involved as well as Mark Wilson and former PDC professionals Chris Mason and Paul Nicholson too. Right. How about this for a song, Cass?
Go
There's
on.
no name on it, but Shake, Cattle and Roll. Oh dear, you see, you deliver, it's fabulous. You can't help but giggle at some of these. Keep them coming in.
The one I keep thinking of was I heard it on the grapevine.
Yes. Well, somebody else kind of interpreted
Brilliant.
that and changed it slightly to, oh God, I've got to heard it from the bovine. Fabulous. It works. Two puns there in the same. Well, I say puns, one pun, and then the bovine as well. Yeah. 81089 is the text number. The WhatsApp is 03717 223344. Get involved this morning here at talkSPORT.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. It's better than yours.
Good morning. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast with a man who's been given the freedom of the French city of Nancy, Tony Cascarino, who is with me, Natalie Sawyer, and yeah, sort of Kalisa Milkshake on the subject of cow-related songs, because a scientific study has told us that if you want to get the best milk production out of your cows, you've got to play them nice, soothing music. So maybe this one wouldn't quite make the Spotify playlist, but we've been asking for you to get in touch with your offerings. Stuart, who is listening from Abu Dhabi, loves the show, he says. Could it be magic? I like that. That's a good one.
I'll tell you what, there's so many puns in there, isn't there?
Oh, honestly, fabulous. You've all been brilliant on this one. Adam has gone for, how about a bit of 50 Cent in Indicud? Oh, it's ridiculous. There's so many brilliant ones. I'm trying to see. I mean, some of you have been like changing lyrics and all sorts. I'm not even.
Can you read some?
No, I'm not sure I can. So,
No.
you know, Callum, the blue from Manchester, has gone for Steak on Me. Aha.
Yeah.
That's a good one as well. That's very clever.
Aha. I like that band. I like them.
Oh, who doesn't like Aha?
Well, no, they were a sort of band that were a bit cheesy, some people felt. You know, when you get a bit poppy.
Yeah.
And Aha sort of fell into that bracket. I actually really like them.
Well, I think
they were decent.
I mean, obviously, Take On Me is often a song that's played
biggest,
in a lot of bars and clubs, etc. Wasn't he diagnosed, Morton Harkett?
I don't know. Wasn't it?
Parkinson's?
Oh dear, don't.
Is that right?
Oh,
I might be wrong on that one. No, he had Parkinson's. Yeah. Sadly,
Was he one time the most handsome man in the world?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that was.
I think he was voted. I know the lead singer of Japan. Have you heard? Remember the band, the group Japan?
Well, I do know that. I don't know who the lead singer is.
Yeah, the lead singer. I think he won it. Lead singer of Japan.
Did
I
he?
can't remember his name, but
David Sylvian.
Sylvian, that's it. David Sylvian. I think he got voted.
Right. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
We've gone off tangent, as we always do.
Yeah, sorry.
No, absolutely. I mean, I can totally see where you're coming from, though, with Morton Harkett. Absolutely. Just some more. She loves Moo, so Chris.
She loves Moo, yeah.
Yeah, moves like Jagger.
Moves, yeah. That's
another
a great
one that's
yeah.
been suggested. Under Pressure. Under pressure. Yeah, there's loads. So do keep them coming into us because you are really keeping us entertained this morning. 81089 is the text number. The WhatsApp is 03717 223344. Where, as I've said already, if you're brave enough, you could even sing your version of it. Yeah, as we say, cows will be soothed by it and we'll get better milk production. Here are some of your headlines to... Sorry, just more coming in. Some of your headlines this morning. Alexander Usyk put down Daniel Dubois twice in the 5th round to further cement his place as one of boxing's best ever as he became a 2-time unified champion. Germany defied the odds. Wow, what a game this was. In a chaotic encounter to beat France in a penalty shootout to reach the semi-finals of Euro 2025. That's despite playing with 10 players from the 13th minute.
Yeah, I knew it was early. It was a red card early doors,
Absolutely
wasn't it?
Extraordinary. The red card in itself, which was a VAR intervention. I mean, pulling the hair of
France will be hugely disappointed because disallowed goal that was marginal.
Offside one.
Yeah, really, really marginal. Yeah.
And it has to be said that the German goalkeeper, Berger, pulled off one of the most just incredible save in the second half. I think, or was it extra time? I can't remember now. It was simply incredible when one of her own players heads the ball back, obviously in a defensive header, but the trajectory of the ball is going into the goal, and a full stretch, she gets her hand to it and somehow manages to get it away from. It was unbelievable. The roar in the crowd from that save was spectacular, and then she pulled off some saves in the shootout as well to help Germany to that victory, and they will play Spain in the second semi-final. Don't forget, England take on Italy in the first, which is live on talkSPORT. Okay, shall we talk British and Irish Lions? Because they won their first test against the Wallabies in Brisbane yesterday. But Tag Furlong, the Lions prop, has told talkSPORT that this series is far from over.
A 3-game tour is a funny thing, you know, the ebb and flow, and it's all on the line next week for them, and what does that do for them, and can we match that? And you know, there's a whole lot of play. I think in South Africa last time won the first test and then lost the second and the third, so you know, it's always on the forefront of your mind, and there's a different flow and a different feel to every week, and it's just on us now to not to get too far ahead of ourselves, to make the learnings and try to put it back out there.
So, yes, they've taken a 1-0 lead then in this test series after that victory in Brisbane. They won 27-19, the Lions, having led to a 24-5 lead early on in the second half. But, 24-5, that's absolutely right. But what looked like it could be a statement win didn't quite turn out that way. Ended a bit more nervously than they would have anticipated for the Lions. That being said, it's still a victory under their belt. Cass, you were across this one. You watched it. Like we mentioned there, it did seem quite comfortable for the Lions for much of that match, but towards
First
the
half.
end, especially towards the end of that second half, Australia got back into it, and you never know. With more time on the clock, they may well have even got more on the board the way it was ending.
Yeah, the only thing I would say that I thought Andy Farrell, he took Finn Russell off after 60 minutes, Nat, and he took him off for a reason. Is because he felt comfortable in the game. They could win that, and he don't want to lose Finn Russell for the next match, which is, I think it's next weekend, isn't it? Yeah. The next game. But no, dominant first half. Tom Curry was superb as well. Russell just run the show, and a really great number 10 that he is. So, all round it was a really solid performance. The Lions were very comfortable knowing that this score line flattered Australia. It really did. Yeah, absolutely did, yeah.
Which is a slight worry for Joe Schmidt then.
I mean, you could take your foot off the pedal to a degree, but I actually felt that the Lions still were in a lot of control now.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's 2 more tests to come.
Yeah, it sort of feels as though with the Lions that they were good, but there's probably more to come from them still, which you can argue probably the same for the Wallabies, but it does feel as though there's just a little bit more that we can see from the Lions, which might end up being more comfortable, which Alfie Reynolds, our reporter down under, will not want, because he's hoped in a weird way, it sounds weird to say it, but he did say that he'd rather Australia win that first test to then make the series more interesting, because I think he has that fear that it could be not a whitewash, but just a dominant performance from the Lions.
It's quite weird because there feels like in Australia there's a real shift in the feeling of rugby. International rugby is being sort of fallen behind slightly, and they're trying to get that love for their game back, and it's struggling, and it doesn't help when the Lions go there and win the first one and probably could end up winning 3-0. That it will do rugby in Australia no good at all.
No.
You have to have the love and enthusiasm, the drive. I witnessed it a few times with Ireland, with football, that if your national team is struggling and not doing well, people are not so eager to go and watch games. I remember one time, Nat, you couldn't get a ticket for an Ireland game for love nor money, because we were really being successful, a good side. The fans were loving it, and it was competing with, obviously, rugby, GA, hurling.
Yeah.
But there was a place for football in Ireland.
Yeah.
Which happens in Australia.
It also doesn't help that your near neighbours are so dominant in rugby union.
Adds to it,
that is. But yeah, certainly rugby union in Australia not as big as it might well have been
a few years
back in the day. Yeah. Certainly when you've got Aussie rules, you've got rugby league, which is really massively popular there too. So yeah, they're fighting for room in Australia, and they're not coming out of that fight.
And they had a number of injuries.
Presently. Yeah, that's true. But look, we'll have more on this, because bringing us the Wallabies side of things will be Matt Giteau, Australian legend, and he'll be joining us later on in the show to reflect upon that first victory for the Lions. But also on the way, we'll talk latest transfer news and the potential move to Barcelona for Marcus Rashford.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City dry cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. We're live on your radio, YouTube and Smart TV. I'm Natalie Sawyer, and with me it is the former Gillingham striker, Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Alexander Usyk has become a 2-time undisputed champion last night after defeating Daniel Dubois by knockout. Here's how the winning moment sounded on talkSPORT.
But Usyk will look to finish it. Goes in with the right hook, misses with the left, but he's not with a huge left hand again. He's down once more, and I think it's going to be all over this time. Dubois is at the count of 8, 9, and the fight is over. The towel comes in, but it was finished anyway. Usyk has shown that he is absolutely in another class.
We'll have more on that a little bit later on. Plus, we'll also talk more on the British and Irish Lions, who started their series off with a win against the Wallabies after they beat them 27-19 in Brisbane. Here's the captain, Maro Itoje, on what he had to say on the performance.
Today was a good performance, particularly the first half. You know, when you play Test match rugby at this level, everything doesn't go your way, and that was, probably the story of the second. But as Big Fast said, absolutely delighted to win, absolutely delighted to get this test series off to a one-way start.
An Australian great, Matt Giteau, will join us later to reflect upon that first test in the show. We're also looking forward to more of your contributions this morning on cow songs. Yeah, I know, weird one to talk about, but we are going to talk about it because there is a scientific study that has now shown that cows will produce more milk. I don't know why we're talking about it, really. It's not sport related, but it's just a bit of fun for this Sunday morning. They'll produce more milk if they are played soothing, calming music. So we've asked you to get in touch with the best music that we should be playing cows to make sure that we're getting the very best out of them. That could be through a text, it could be through WhatsApp, it could be through a voice note. Let's hear from Richard.
Good morning, talkSPORT. Milking cows. It's got to be Shawaddy Waddy. Under the moon of love.
Richard, thank you very much. Please be brave. Do the same. Leave us a voice note. Hey, we are open to anything. Pete from Liverpool has gone for, what about I'm a believer? Bull.
Yeah, believer. Believer.
Milk a bull?
It's very hard. Well, we never know in the modern world, Nat. I mean, there's quite a lot of... Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, honestly, they were just flying in at one point. Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield has been another suggested, as has Tom Jones's Green Green Grass of Home. We have also... Who Let the Cows Out? Yeah, that would work. Heard it through the grapevine. I Did It My Way.
Yeah.
Way within WHEY. Chris is also suggestion. It Had to Be Moo. That would work. You see, these are fabulous. And we've had a similar one, but this one is a suggestion of Moo Moo Mia by Abattoir. They've gone for. That's from Craig in Loughborough.
Abattoir, good.
Yes. So that's what we're looking
for. Even band names now.
Yes, indeed, it works.
Find a band name in.
It all works this morning. So, yeah, why not send us a message to 81089. You can also WhatsApp us on 03717 223344. An udder one bites the dust, just on X, an udder one bites the dust. We've had that before. That's from Penguin Land. Love the name. Under the Milky Way by the Church. Do you know that one?
No.
I don't know that one. That's from KTB. Billy Bragg's Milkman of Human Kindness. That's from Gavin. And Northeast Dad has suggested surely the preferred singer is Tamilka Tikaram. Do you remember Tanita Tikaram? That's obviously a play on there.
Yeah, I remember the, and I'm showing my age now, Nat. Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West, right?
Yes.
Benny Hill.
Yes, that would work.
Who was? I think he got to number one. That was a number one for a number of weeks. Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West.
But because he was so loved, Benny.
Oh, he was.
So yeah.
Do you know? I knew I've told you before. I knew his agent, Peter Charlesworth. His agent,
right?
And he had Benny for a number of years, and he told me that when Benny had done like 20 years on ITV in England,
right,
and then they didn't when he was up for a new contract, they didn't keep him. They let him go. And he then went to America for 2 years in America and hit it big. And in that 2 years, he earned more than he got in 20 in England.
In 2 years?
In 2 years in America. Wow. And he was big in France, by the way, as well. He's big in a number of European countries, Benny Hill. Huge.
There you go.
You know, all that slapstick type of comedy. Now that you would never see that now, that type of comedy.
Is it Norman Wisdom and Albania or Azerbaijan?
Yes, that's
like
right,
that?
Albania. I think it's Albanian Norman
Funny,
Wisdom.
isn't it? How just one
I know another story about him as well.
Oh, we'll save that for
I'll tell you that one day. If you mention Norman Wisdom, I'll tell you a funny... Well, no, it's not a funny story. It's just a hard story.
All right. We're going to turn our attentions down to the latest transfer news because there's lots of speculation doing the rounds. And we've already mentioned that talkSPORT sources can confirm Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle with Barcelona for the United forward Marcus Rashford. That after weeks of speculation, that's been talked about in the papers today as well. Another player that's also been mentioned, Cass, is another option for Liverpool, which is, and we again talked about this one yesterday, Ugo Ekitike. It now seems... we understand that Liverpool have submitted an improved offer for the French forward with an agreement now close to being finalised. It does sort of seem that once Liverpool kind of make it known, make their declarations. I know Wirtz maybe took a little bit long, but they seem to get it done pretty quick. If this is the case with because it was Newcastle that seemed to be in for Ekitike. Now it's Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool seem to know what they want and seem to get it over the line. Whatever's happening behind the scenes, because there would have been question marks. I mean, imagine if Liverpool wouldn't have won the league last year, Nat, and had an okay season, there'd have been a lot of question marks thrown at Liverpool about they didn't do any activity last summer of any note. Apart from Chiesa, that was about it. It wasn't hardly anything done. This year, they've gone the complete opposite, done everything, and look like they're not even stopping. So it's a complete contrast in 1 year. So they must have spent a hell of a lot of time over the last 18 months planning for potential signings coming down the road. And this is why you're seeing an explosion of activity in the transfer market by Liverpool.
Which in some ways makes sense a little bit when you've got a manager coming in who already had a good squad. We all knew that Jurgen Klopp left them in a pretty good shape. In a way, obviously, when a new manager comes in, you often expect that they're going to want to buy in players that they might already know, or at least have ideas of players they think can improve. But to have waited it out like they did, and how successful it turned out to be as well, winning the Premier League. But it now is the season where you go, right, we've not won the Premier League. Now we're going again. This is our best sort of stage to be at right now, because people look at Liverpool and go, well, I want to be a part of that now.
There's no sitting on the laurels, is there?
No.
At all with Liverpool at the moment.
No.
Again, I always say there's never guarantees with transfers, but one thing's for sure is that you can't question the quality that they brought in, because that is very, they're some of the best players that are wanted around Europe. And to get Wirtz over the line was a big one. There was a lot of clubs after him, and Liverpool have managed that. I think it's a lot to do with the style of play that they've been sort of promoting from Jurgen Klopp into Arne Slot. That people are looking at Liverpool and saying, what a good team to play for. If you're going to go to a Premier League team, they've become the number one. And there's been other clubs over the last 2, 3, 4 decades that have been the number one. There was a period that everyone wanted to go to Chelsea. There was periods when everyone wanted to go to Arsenal. There's players obviously want to go to Man United and Man City. This has all happened for different football clubs. All them 5 clubs have had their own periods. They could go and pick and cherry pick who they wanted.
Other just sort of players to talk about, other teams as well. There's an understanding here at talkSPORT that Manchester City have held tentative talks with goalkeeper James Trafford over an Etihad return. It sparked reports that this could perhaps mean that Ederson is coming to the end of his time.
Strange one. You sort of see the why it was not a great season last year. I think there's quite been a disconnect been going on, certainly at the Etihad.
Right.
Because a number of players that were deemed absolute certainty, some of the best around, have had their noses put out of joint slightly, and the wind of change is coming in, and they know it. And, Ederson had a funny season. He became second choice, didn't he, at the Etihad? And it was all strange what was going on. All the loyal people that you thought were Pep's men who would... It certainly, I don't think behind the scenes that was exactly the case.
So you'd see it is more likely that Ederson's time's going to end. Right.
Well, Pep chopped and changed last year. And, a number one like Ederson, who was top goalkeeper for them and number one in the world for a period, and suddenly wasn't the main man. It's moving on time.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was the moving on time.
Moving on. Time, indeed. Very quickly, Tottenham, as we know, Thomas Frank now in charge. They've already brought in Mohamed Kudus and a few others as well. The Morgan Gibbs-White story seems to have currently gone away, but you never know what will happen with that one. But it does seem as though they're interested in the Bournemouth defender Ilya Zabani, prepared to rival PSG for his services. This is partly centering on, I suppose, Romero's future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been rumoured that he's Atletico Madrid, and he played really well at times last year when he had to. And he's a strange player. Sometimes he's incredible he can be so reckless, Romero. He can get sent off from nowhere in a football match. But you can see his qualities. Other games you watch him, you think he's a really good centre-half. Really, you can trust him.
Does Zabani fit for you at Tottenham if they are to do business?
Well, had a great season, didn't he? And clubs like Brighton, like Bournemouth, Brentford, all these clubs that have overachieved and players that them particular football clubs are going for big fees. Look, Pedro, 50 million.
I mean, there's another defender that they're going to lose potentially.
Well,
Bournemouth.
Yeah. Bournemouth have lost a number, but again, I think they're trusting the model because from the outside now, we're looking at football like we did years ago. We're all guilty of doing this. It's a bit like for you and Brentford. We're looking at, you can't do that. In the old days, you couldn't let people go. You'd suffer. But the models are different in the game now. They're so, related to data, information, and players who are absolutely can step into the position that others have left. And these clubs are comfortable with that. They can say, we can sell.
But a club, I know I'm conscious we've got to get to a break, but a club like Bournemouth, if this is the case for Zabani, he needs to leave, they'd rather get that done now, get that business done, because then they can bring in that replacement.
I'm sure.
What you don't want is that heading into the final few weeks of August, still up in the air, still not knowing what's going on.
No, I know, Nat. Look, all these clubs have such great models that they have a number of players ready to step in all over Europe. Brighton do, Brentford do, Bournemouth will, and others.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't think that we can't look at football like we did. We used to. It's evolved. It's become something very different now. Is that you can sell on, and you're going to, we all suffer, and we shouldn't have sold them. We've gone down because we let them go. I think the systems now in football clubs are so much. They're just fantastic models that they're following.
Okay. All right. Don't forget our website, talksport.com. We'll always have the very latest transfer news for you, should you wish to check it out. Okay. On the way next, we'll bring the latest odds from Coral. Good morning. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast with a man that once got 2 assists in an FA Cup semi-final. Yeah, that is Tony Cascarino. He is with me, Natalie Sawyer, and we are taking you through until 10 this morning. I tell you what.
I don't think I've learned you laugh so much about doing the tech
Sometimes you
subject.
start a topic off and it just gets better and better. I don't know how you're all thinking up these songs. It's fabulous. We've had, some are being repeated, but we don't mind telling you them again. So, for example, we've had Under Pressure by Queen. Absolutely. That's by Morge? I think that's right. I don't know if they've changed their name on the text thing. But anyway, that's what that one says. We've got, here we are, How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees. That would work though, wouldn't it? Yeah. This one also is by Mike, the Liverpool fan, who has gone for Keep On Moving by Five. Keep on moving. I like that one. He says, great show, listens every week. Every weekend, loves it. We've also got God Save the Cream by the Sex Pistols. That's from Andy and Yeovil. That's a good one too. We haven't had that one. So that's what we're looking for this morning. Songs that are related to cows. I won't go into massive details to why, but just join in the fun if you so wish. And you can also leave us a voice note if you want to sing the song that you think would be absolutely perfect for cows to produce milk, because that's what they need. I've actually started to go into detail. But anyway, this is what Phil has left us.
Ooh, I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me move with some of a bull you knew before. Between the two of us bulls, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. Don't you know that I heard it through the boat vine?
That's
Phil.
top quality.
Phil,
He's actually
that's
really
gone to the extreme, but that's what we love.
top
That was
quality.
absolutely brilliant. So if you want to do the same, then leave us a voice note on WhatsApp on 03717223344. Or you can leave us just a message there, or you can text us to 81089. Perhaps you're a big fan like Vanessa has gone for Phil Collins's hit of, oh no, Take a Look at Me Cow.
Take a look at me, cow.
That would work. That would work. Right, let's bring you the latest odds from Coral now.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for it. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Simon Clare, good morning. How are you?
I'm still laughing at that last voice note. Absolutely fantastic. He actually can sing, which is really impressive.
Very good. It's not an audition for X Factor, we should point out.
I know. I was going to sing, but after that, I'm not sure I will.
But they are brilliant. Our listeners are fabulous this morning.
Yeah.
Right, let's get straight to it, shall we, Simon? Because today, Portrush is going to be very, very exciting.
It is. Look, I thought yesterday's golf was amazing. I sat and watched it all. The chasing pack all trying to make inroads into Scottish Scheffler, but he was unbelievable. Just like plowing his calm furrow all the way through. He's in front. He's 3-4 in front. He's 1-8 to win the Open. I think if there's any other golfer in the field that a few shots clear, they'd be probably about 1-2 or something. But because it's him, he's the golfer who looks least likely to drop shots. And the whole field need him to drop shots. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Simon, we spoke to John Hills yesterday, and Scheffler was 4-7 on. And I said to Natalie afterwards, I said, that's incredibly short. Yeah. I can't believe with the rest of the field, and they're quite tightly packed. I tell you what, all of the bookmakers have called it that they're just scared of him. They're scared of him.
Are you scared of him, Simon?
No, well, the odds compilers are.
The thing is, he's kind of the other thing is he doesn't play. I was saying to someone watching, like Tiger Woods would be playing off emotion with the fist pumps, and even Rory to some extent really rises to the kind of the emotion. But he's the total reverse. He's almost in his own little bubble, no emotion, totally unflustered, which of course means mentally he looks unbreakable too. The interesting thing is we're actually betting without Scheffler today. And actually, for people who want to have a little flutter on the golf, it's a really good battle in behind him because there's a really great chasing pack. And we make Rory 100-30 to basically win it without Scottish Scheffler. 7-2 Matty Fitzpatrick, 4-1 Lee, who was playing very well yesterday. Tyrrell Hatton, who's been battling away, he's 13-2, and then 10 Gotter up, and 11-1 Harris English, who if a few more putts drop, he could come second. So in a way, if you want to have an interest from that perspective, it's also betting without Scheffler. But I think it's going to be tough to see Scheffler throwing those shots away, isn't it? So,
yeah,
but
8-1 on's very, very short.
but he's a great champ, and he is a great champion, and it'd be great for him to win the Open, which is will be of huge significance.
Yeah. I've got a weird one here because it says Usyk odds to beat Fury. Now, he's only fought last night, Usyk, and he's said he's going to take a long break with his family. But you boys have decided to give odds on fighting Fury that no one even knows about.
Well, you know what it's like. It's funny immediately after a fight when you see something. Of course, he's so good. Again, we talk about Scheffler or Usyk. I mean, just one of the greats, really. I mean, it's crazy to think that the betting was 1-3 Usyk, 5-2 Dubois in a way, because the gulf between them was huge. And that's no disrespect for Daniel Dubois, who, of course, dismantled Anthony Joshua only a few months ago, which just shows how good Usyk is. But what you want in sport is you want a feeling that someone's going to come and take him on, don't you, Cass? And it's weird that Fury, even though he's been beaten twice by Usyk, feels like maybe one of the more legitimate contenders. And Fury has said he reckons he'll fight Usyk in April. But he's still odds against. He's 2-1 to beat Usyk. Again, quite a big price, 2-5 Usyk to beat Fury for the third time. The only other contenders we've got really are Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, and possibly Anthony Joshua. But ultimately, we're now in a world where can anybody beat Usyk? And that's probably on his mind too. But he didn't seem to suggest he was retiring, so someone's going to fight him. Could be Fury.
Yeah. You never know, that's for sure. Right, let's talk the Euros, shall we? Because we now know the women's semi-finals. England taking on Italy on Tuesday, live on talkSPORT. Then the next day in Zurich, it's Germany against Spain. So, in terms of who you think's going to eventually come away with the trophy, how are we seeing this one at Coral?
Well, both semi-finals similarly priced. England are 8-15 to beat Italy. Spain are 1-2 to beat Germany. If the odds are right, we're looking at another Spain-England final. I wouldn't take anything for granted. We saw that against Sweden, how tight that was. But should that come to pass, Spain are the heavy favourites. They have looked the best. They're 4-7. England 5-2 second favourites. Then 7-1 Germany, 20-1 Italy. I suppose the question is obviously you've got to get through those semi-finals, but it's just whether this England side has the tools to beat what looks a very good Spanish side. I've got to say, I thought the England-Sweden game was so dramatic. It was. After years of watching the England men scrape through by the fingernails, all get knocked out in unlucky, well, often deserved successes. It was great to see the English women living up to that kind of performance. And the penalty shootout was honestly, I've never seen anything like it. I actually think the two goalkeepers were brilliant, actually. But Lucy Bronze, what a player she is! I just loved it. I don't know what did you think that, Cass? I thought it was so entertaining.
Well, do you know what's brilliant about Lucy Bronze is the experience that she brings to that team, and that penalty summed up everything about who she is. And I think it was, I forget who was on comms duty that I was listening to, but they were saying she's like the Stuart Pearce of the men's team. That sort of passion that she brings,
strapping herself up when she was injured, not bothering with the physio at one point. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was. I totally agree.
She's fantastic.
Briefly, Simon, we got the Lions' second test after the, I thought, very comfortable, especially after the first half yesterday.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame because sometimes, again, like we said, when the Lions go and go on tour, you love it when it's tight and tough. But I think they just look a bit strong for the Australians. And the second match next weekend is 1-5 Lions, 4-1 Australia. So the betting actually is even more, there's a bigger gap than there was for yesterday's match, and it's now 2-5 that the Lions leave with a 3-0 win. And based on yesterday, you sort of, something have to turn around quite remarkably, I think, for the Australians to put pressure on the Lions. But we'll see. There's 2 more matches to go. You can't be complacent. But as I said, love the Lions to the tour, but the Australians just don't look that strong. So it could well be a whitewash.
Okay. Simon, thank you. Enjoy your Sunday.
You too, guys.
Cheers, Simon.
Great to have you with us. Simon Clare then from Coral. It is 18 and over. BeGambleAware.org. Please do gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for it. 18+, BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, on the way next, as we always do on a Sunday, we love to bring you a musical guest, and that is what's coming your way in just a few minutes.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earned 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Tuning into the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT with, and this isn't a high standard, but the best poker player at talkSPORT, Tony Cascarino. Well, you are here.
Oh, here, yes.
At talkSPORT, because the rest of us.
Level.
Well, that's what I mean. The rest of us are rubbish. But Cass is not. He's pretty nifty when it comes to the cards, and he is alongside me, Natalie Sawyer, as we take you through until 10. And right now, we're listening to Top of the World by Solar Eyes, and I'm really pleased to say that joining us here in the studio, part of Solar Eyes, is Glenn Smith. Glenn, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yourselves?
Yeah, very well.
Very good.
Good.
Thank you very much for being with us here in the studio. By the way, it's not often we get merch. I got some merch. Yeah. I got a t-shirt. Look at this. Look at this. If you're watching on our YouTube or our streaming services, you'll see. Oh, here we are.
But the reason I couldn't give Tony one was because he was a Villa fan. That was the.
No,
this is it.
We were Villa player.
Sorry, Villa player. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's as bad though, is it?
No, I mean, you was only there a season, wasn't you? So
well, no, I did 18 months. I did love it at the club. It was a great club.
It's one of those that you said you wish you had more time at.
Yeah, I would have loved to have stayed. It just didn't work out that way. But you're a Birmingham City fan.
I am indeed.
So you must be on a well, you've been on a great high.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's crazy, really, because obviously the new owners come in, we got relegated. But there was always like a feeling like, I know this is the start of something. I think we've, really the history's been pretty poor for a size of the city and stuff. And I think you'd have said, Tony, when you were at Villa and that, Blues were probably like third division, and just have always sort of never really fulfilled their potential. But I feel like this probably could be the start of it, to be honest.
It was weird because I lived in Warmley, which was Sutton Coldfield. Yeah. And it was all Villa from that side. Yeah. But you sort of move over from Solihull and upwards, it seems to be much more Birmingham City fans.
Yeah, like, so South Birmingham, like, probably upset a few Villa fans here, but it is more Blues. I'd say it's definitely 50-50 in South Birmingham, so, but and as you get further Sutton and stuff, you struggle to find a Blues fan, so,
I mean, I suppose, bear in mind, last season, fantastic, and you're going into the Championship now, obviously, I suppose, with high hopes. But it must also have been difficult to see what Aston Villa have been up to of late.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It's funny actually because there's a little story, the song that I'm going to play in a bit, Top of the World. One morning I woke up to a text off a friend of mine called Paul Quigley, big blues fan, just saying, your song, their goals. Just it was like a Monday morning, that was it. I thought, that's interesting, I wonder what that is. And basically the night before a match of the day they played Top of the World and all Villa's goals go flying in, and it was the most bittersweet feeling, because obviously I'm on match of the day, so I'm not a bit chuffed, but it's like, oh no, that was not what that was for. So yeah. But yeah, there's I think with like Bluesville, I think there is a deep hatred. I think you'd agree, but there is sort of an element of respect as well. Like I would much prefer someone to be from Birmingham and support Villa than I would Man United or Liverpool or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's how I would phrase it.
Yeah, fair enough. Should we talk music then?
Yes, music.
And how it all began for you and Solar Eyes.
Yeah, so it's basically it's me and another guy, Seb, and we started sort of around the COVID period, to be honest. Like, and we'd done stuff before to varying success, and just thought, right, if there's a time to do it, it's probably now. So, and we just cracked on with doing the album sort of thing, but. During it all, the mixer at the time, who does all our songs, Jeff, and he got involved, and we just sort of went from there. Got a record deal with Fierce Panda, and then we're going on to our second record, which is out in September. So
tell us who are your idols, your influences in music, because that always plays a big part in any artist.
Yeah, so I suppose for me, I think you always got to start with the Beatles. Like that's where it starts, and then after that, for this album, certainly it'd be like the Stooges, Primal Scream, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, all these sort of things, and just sort of like a dark sort of feeling, really. But it's sort of Ennio Morricone, sort of a bit classical as well, and film scores and things like that. So just throw it all into the mix. But I do like ELO as well, obviously big blues fans as well.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
We always love to know about the influences. We always think that's quite interesting, and a lot always come back to the Beatles, clearly. And why wouldn't they? It makes absolute sense. So have you? But you said COVID, but before COVID, you were still involved in music. It's always been a thing.
So before that, I'd sort of signed a little publishing deal with Universal, and they were using the tracks like on sort of like adverts and stuff like that, and like bizarrely like Hollyoaks and Home and Away. That was the one that I used to tell everyone, and it just sort of was like, this is all right, but I feel like I've got to go and do it now. Do you know what I mean? It was sort of got to that point. I was like, you know what, I've got to go and make a record and stuff, and go and be an artist, I guess, rather than just sort of.
Yeah.
So how challenging is the music business, would you say?
Very, very challenging. Yeah, I'd say. I think it must be really hard. Like if you're a young kid trying to come through, because you haven't got the money to invest in yourself. No one's going to put any money to invest in you. And I think particularly bands, I don't think there's I can't, if I was saying to a kid now doing it, I'd just say, you just got to do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
There's no other real reason, because you're not probably going to make any money. But, with regards to us, we go and do, we played Paris last month and stuff and things like that. So,
Well, there seems to be no middle ground. There seems to be that if you really do make it, you get the lot, okay? And then at the bottom end, you're fighting for very little. But the middle is...
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? Like, whereas years ago, maybe you might make a career in that middle ground and, and do bits. But now it is just literally those top people like Oasis and people like that who will make a serious amount of money. And then, you below that,
everyone's scrapping there
sort of struggling, really.
It's crazy how it's gone. It does sound my crib sheet here that Glenn is a huge boxing fan.
I am.
So did you watch it last night?
I did. Yeah, we was just talking about this. Yeah, I am like huge boxing fan. What a good.
Was you surprised? But
no.
I'd not say that he won, but I said earlier that I couldn't believe that the second fight was so much easier for him than the first.
Yeah, I mean, I think though, like, I was listening to Carl Frampton. I think what he said was right. He seemed to download the information in that first fight, and then he makes it a lot easier in the second. But that was like a walk in the park for him, wasn't it? But with regards to boxing, like one of my good pals is Spencer McCracken, who's a
the trainer.
And his brother Rob and that, and he took me up to Sheffield Institute of Sport a good few years ago now.
Yeah.
And I watched Carl Froch spar Tony Bellew.
Right.
So like that, and that was like amazing. And while I was there, Anthony Joshua was there, and he was the loveliest kid ever, sort of thing. So I absolutely love boxing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he's really put the mix in the heavyweights, hasn't he? He's beaten everyone he's confronted from a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to watch someone be so dominant.
Yeah, and he's a cruiserweight, isn't he? Like that is the thing. He's not a heavyweight. He's a cruiserweight, but he's I think he's the full package. And I think I was thinking this. I was just speaking to someone outside that the only person I could sort of see in history that probably would have beaten him was Lennox Lewis. I think he'd have struggled to get in the jab, and I think that would have been potentially a problem, but you feel like he probably would have found a way there as well. So,
well, especially as we always have a rematch or a trilogy. There's always another way of working it out.
Too much, isn't it?
Sometimes.
I don't know how much excitement there would be for anybody to fight him now, because he's beaten AJ, he's beaten Tyson Fury twice, he's now beaten Dubois twice. So I'm thinking, unless it's an American that has come through in the latter sort of stages in the last year or so, but that doesn't seem the case either.
So I suppose, Chisora getting in the ring, I think a bit cringe, but Joseph Parker, but again, he's going to deal with him, I would have thought. But Moses Atuma's probably the one that looks frightening. He does look frightening, and I think if I was Usyk, I'd swerve that pretty soon. I think I'd get a couple.
He swerves anybody, Glenn.
No, true.
I don't think he does.
Well, certainly Usyk is top of the world, and that's what you're going to sing for us now. Top of the world.
Looking forward to it.
So by all means, when you're ready, Glenn, let's hear it.
I know this life they're living to die. It makes no sense, I'm trying to do my best. I make the sign of the cross while she breaks my heart. I try to prove in all I do. I kiss your hand, it sends you mad, turning that smile into a frown. I missed you today, I hope you stay and call my phone, I'm coming home. I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. I'm on top of the world, and I thank the stars for taking me far. I wanna push for this love. I am afraid that I will stray and break your heart of solid gold. I see the sun, it shines on love, radiates our lives and stops the lies. I'm winning the race by spending the days, and looking at you, it's definitely true that I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. And I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. And I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. And I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. And I'm on top of the world, and there's room up here for you. And I'm on top of the world.
Well done. Great stuff.
Thank you.
That was lovely.
Great stuff. Really great.
I hope you see it as a compliment. There's a real delicacy to your voice, if that is a nice
Can
way.
I get my wife in to explain that too? Because she definitely wasn't saying that earlier.
I think when I heard it, I was just thinking that just sounds so lovely, and I mean that in such a nice way. It's so delicate.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
no, she was definitely saying, "Don't do that song. Play something." No, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, it's lovely. And I find this, and I've noticed this a lot, and I suppose it's just a natural thing to do, but most people who play the guitar close their eyes, and you do as well. And it's obviously for concentration, isn't it?
Because it would be a bit weird me just sort of.
No, I know.
You could do a staring competition.
But it's like you watch artists get so into it.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. Because, you know, you're giving your all, aren't you?
Yeah. I think it's just sort of closing yourself off. Otherwise, you could be thinking about anything.
We were not our tech subject earlier, wasn't it? Because artists and music were with cows. You
Cows,
know,
yes.
You can explain better than me now.
Yes, there's a scientific study that shows that if you want better milk production, you should play calming and soothing music.
Well, top of the world.
That would work.
Yeah.
I kind of did think that.
I think they'd come rushing.
They would. I mean,
No, but it was
might
great
be an
stuff,
overflow, perhaps. That's the problem. By the way, do you two go to the same opticians? Because your glasses are very funky.
Yeah,
there's a similarity.
I've got a new pair coming.
Solar eyes, is it?
Yeah, no, there's
that's true.
the guy that lives in sort of South London that gets my glasses, and I've just got a bit funky with my glasses.
You got it, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know.
They've really gone. You see it everywhere now.
Yeah.
Well, look, Glenn, it's been a pleasure. Where can we hear more of you? Are you touring? Anything like that to
So we're playing Islington Academy with a band from California called The Warlocks, August the 6th. And we've got a date in Paris, end of October. But there is a tour coming up as well, so we'll announce.
Is there any, and the name Solo Eyes?
Yeah.
Is there any reason behind that?
I always quite liked Spiritual Eyes, the band Spiritual Eyes, and I quite like the way it rolled off the tongue. Like I'm going to see Solar Eyes tonight. I don't know, there was something about it really, but nothing major.
No, sometimes there's different reasons for names.
Yeah.
But you're on social media if people want to find you
we're
everywhere.
everywhere,
Brilliant.
Okay.
Glenn, we wish you the best of luck.
Okay,
thank you
Cheers.
very much for being with us. That is Glenn Smith from Solar Eyes. On the way next, we'll focus on the Women's Euros. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Crockenhill's finest, Tony Cascarino. Chris Wilder, you listening? Just checking. He is alongside me, Natalie Sawyer, and with you until 10 o'clock this morning. Just a reminder, that was Glenn Smith from Solar Eyes, if you want to check them out on all the relevant social medias and your music providers as well. We are talking the Euros in just a moment, but of course our text topic this morning, which you have been brilliant in helping us out with, is on songs related to cows, off the back of the fact that cows, if you play them soothing music, they're going to produce more milk, so they say scientifically. We've been asking for you to get in touch then with your cow related songs or even bands, whatever it is. You can either send us a text, you can WhatsApp us, or you can leave us a voice note, which is what Chris has done.
Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Thanks for all the milk we have given. Who can live without meat? I ask in all honesty. What would life be without the cows or the barns or the fields? So I say thank you for the music, for bringing it to me.
Oh, Chris, that's a lovely voice.
Yeah,
Wow, that was
really
delicate.
Well.
good. That was lovely.
Absolutely.
We've had Butter the Devil You Know by Kylie Minogue as a suggestion. That's a good one. Ribeye of the Tiger. That's from Ben from Pontypridd. A few of you have gone for Moving On Up. Totally get that one. Makes absolute sense. My milkshake brings all the boys around. We had Khalees mentioned. The music sounds better with you.
Yes.
That's another one that's been put out
Was
there.
that Barry Manilow?
Was
it Barry
well,
Manilow
I know
or
it as Stardust.
Oh,
but
it might. Okay.
I don't know if
He
it's
might
just
have- he might
taken
have
from
done, yeah.
something else. Honestly, we could be here all day because we've had so many fantastic options. So I'll do my best to continue to go through them and bring you the best. But thank you so much because they're keeping us very much entertained. Right, here are some of your headlines this morning. Alexander Usyk put down Daniel Dubois twice in the 5th round to further cement his place as one of boxing's best ever and become a 2-time unified champion. Our commentator from Wembley last night, John Rawling, hopefully will be with us from 9 to talk more about that. Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford's dream transfer to Barcelona, it seems, is moving closer with a loan deal reached in principle. And despite playing with 10 players from the 13th minute of the game, Germany defied the odds in a chaotic encounter to beat France in a penalty shootout to reach the semi-finals of Euro 2025. The German keeper Anne-Katrin Berger produced some wonder saves to keep her side in the tournament. And afterwards, she spoke about her performance and how far she has personally come.
I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad that I have the team I have, and obviously the time here just makes me proud to be here. Whatever happened in 2022 is in the past, and I'm looking forward to it now to the future. And for me, now I live my best life, and I'm in the semi-final. Was not happy that we had to go to the penalty shootout because I would have loved to have the game in 90 minutes and done and dusted, but I think I did my part of the game now because the team did in 120 minutes they worked incredibly hard, and I think that all the credit should go to the team, not me.
So that was Berger, then the German goalkeeper, who pulled off a number of saves in that penalty shootout, but also within the game as well. And one in particular was a goal line clearance where she was at the full stretch to keep out a sort of deflected, a backwards header from one of her own teammates, actually, who tried to make a defensive clearance, but it was going goalwards instead. It was an incredible save. She's got a fantastic story in the sense of she's twice battled thyroid cancer.
Right, wow.
Most recently in 2022. So she has battled back with that and is making her mark in football as she continues to do. She even scored one of the penalties in the shootout, I think, by the way, as well. And this is, again, it feels like it's a bit of a fairy tale story. And sometimes you sort of say, is it destiny that Germany might win because of a story like this?
Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking of when I was driving in this morning, because I watched quite a bit of the game. And when I was driving in, I was thinking the French will be kicking themselves this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, because obviously playing against 10 men, big advantage. They had their chances, got a goal disallowed. It's ended up going to extra time. And they've had a goalkeeper who's produced, like you said, a number of great saves. And not just in the penalty shootout that's kept their team. Sometimes you have someone who is unbeatable on the night. It just felt like that for the French. And look, for her personal story is one of her determination and listening to her talk there as well in English, and she's saying it was done and dusted, and thinking that's when you're bilingual now and you're talking another language, there is a level of most people can get by. But when you hear someone just talk and they'll use phrases that are, that's
She spent 8 years in England. She played for Birmingham, played for Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, but still,
I'm just saying
it's still a great thing to sort of take on board what she's done and achieved. And look, she's now saying, I'm living my best life. And it don't come no better than the semi-final.
Yeah. Terrific. And like we say, imagine, you're playing all of the extra time, all bar 30 odd minutes of the first half plus the second half, down to 10 after They
13 minutes, was it? Something like that?
13 minutes.
Yeah, so enough,
they had Catherine Hendrick sent off for pulling the hair of Mbeumo of France. I mean, what she's thinking, I do not know, because it's the most blatant pull of the hair. And as we know, you're going to pull it. That's violent conduct. You're going to be sent off. Yeah. VAR did ask the referee to go and check it on the monitor. I'm not entirely sure why.
It's such a stupid thing to get sent off for.
So early on in the game as well. It just was ludicrous. And France scored the resulting penalty. But then Germany equalised in the first half, and there was nothing else to separate the two, and it went for extra time in that penalty shootout as well. They do face Spain, which is not an easy team to face, the world champions, in that semi-final on Wednesday, which will bring you on the talkSPORT network, having brought you England-Italy on Tuesday. And look, England didn't have it easy, but even though supposedly in the better half of the draw, Sweden made it tough for them. Italy, I'm sure, likewise, will not make it easy for England as well. They've got to be at their best to get past them to make sure that they at least get to the final to defend their title.
Yeah, and Italy are probably the least fancied out the four teams, aren't they? You know, certainly Spain and Germany and England would, you know, see them more lightly. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a really tough match. England have to play way better than they did against Sweden. You know, first 45 minutes and substitutions had to happen, changes within the team, and they pulled themselves out of a 2-0 deficit. And give them incredible credit for that they managed to achieve that.
It will be interesting to see what Serena Wiegmann opts to do in that semi-final. Bear in mind those game changes that came on in the second up. Chloe Kelly has had a number of standout performances coming off the bench for England in this tournament. Aggie Mang as well has been a pretty decent threat when she's come on and scored in that game too.
You know, Nat, sometimes when you become a super sub, you know, you come on, people don't. Sometimes coaches go, I'm not sure they make a bigger impact when they come on. Yeah. And obviously Chloe's fallen into that bracket. You know, where the coach is thinking, do you know what, I can keep her, because if we are needing something to different and someone who will make an impact and change things in the game, Chloe can do it. And then she won't like it.
No, of course not.
But a coach sometimes think, well, maybe that's the best way to get her to play her best football.
Well, we'll find out on Tuesday. 8 o'clock it kicks off for England against Italy, and it's live here on talkSPORT. On the way next, in the final hour of the show, we'll bring you a look back at what happened in that heavyweight clash at Wembley, and also how the Lions got that first victory in their series against the Wallabies.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58, though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand. and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good morning. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. I'm Natalie Sawyer, and with me it is the former Gillingham and Millwall striker, Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Alexander Usyk has once again etched his name into boxing history, stopping Daniel Dubois in the 5th round in front of a packed Wembley Stadium last night to become a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion. Here's how it sounded on talkSPORT.
It's a new dawn.
talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
It's a new day.
The biggest prize in sport.
It's a new life.
Champion versus champion.
And I'm feeling good.
Let the battle begin.
The mouth, is that just starting to open here from Dubois? It looks as though it might be. His bottom lip is looking swollen. Great shot from Usyk, left hand again. The crowd respond. But he's down. Dubois down. But he's landed a huge left hand again. He's down once more. And I think it's going to be all over this time. Dubois is at the count of 8, 9, and the fight is over.
Perfection. The greatest fighter of our generation has to be.
Indeed, the 38-year-old Ukrainian produced a clinical display, dropping Dubois twice in the 5th round, with the Brit unable to beat the count that second time. Let's break it all down. Pleased to say joining us in the studio to reflect upon it is, and you heard him there on commentary, is John Rawling. Morning to you, John. How are you?
Hi, John.
I'm very well. I'm a bit hoarse, so apologies for that. But, I mean, Usyk was sensational. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I was saying to Natalie earlier, John, that I couldn't believe from the first fight that he would be, this time round, beaten far more easier. It felt like a mismatch, which is really hard to say because a boxer goes in with the intentions of trying to be the best he can. It was a total mismatch from what I saw in them 5 rounds.
It's a question of levels. I mean, I always thought it was likely to end this way,
right?
Because I've got huge respect for Alexander Usyk, and I've watched boxing for a long time now, and he is one of the best in the heavyweight division that I've seen in all those years, and he was just technically too good. It's about levels, if you're a good cricketer on a Sunday afternoon with your local team, doesn't mean to say you can go out and play with England. If you play with your pub team on a Sunday morning, doesn't mean to say you can go and play for Millwall. It's like that really, and I'm afraid, good as Dubois is in fights where he has a chance of being the big puncher, he's just technically and tactically not on the same level as Alexander Usyk.
I mean, what was interesting there, you heard a little snippet from Usyk talking about his age. And age was a factor that many of us were talking about, thinking that, was 11 years difference, I think, between the two.
10, 38, 28, I think.
Nearly 11,
yeah. But again, it looked like Usyk was just as good as he's ever been.
Well, he's in great nick, isn't he? I mean, he is a supremely fit athlete, and he's incredibly motivated as the man of his people. I had that nightmare journey back into London last night on the tube, when you're shoehorned in. But there are a lot of Ukrainian guys on there, and I was talking to them, and once you speak to them, you realise what a massive national hero he really is. He's got a country who we all know is under intense pressure and fighting for survival, and he absolutely epitomises that, and they're so proud of him. There are a couple of lads, there are a fair few actually, who'd come over from Ukraine. They're not just people who are over here in London. There are a lot there, and I think he probably got a bigger reception from the crowd than Dubois did, because there were just so many of them there. But they absolutely love him, and when you hear him speak, as he did to the crowd afterwards, he has an extraordinary ability. Although he's only got relatively halting in English, he has an amazing ability to connect with ordinary people. They just love him. He said he is a genius inside the ring, and he's so likeable outside the ring. He's a family man, 4 kids. He said after the fight, he said, what I'm really looking forward to is getting back to see my wife and my children. I want to rest. I want to have time out.
Well, I was going to add to that. When the fighter, you get all the build up to the fight, and they're going to get into scuffles and say certain things and not particularly nice things, he always says the same line: I'll see you in the ring. And it's like, we'll see.
Yeah.
And it's just as short and sweet, and it's every time the same. And the outcome, and I said to you off air, John, the only one I thought, out of all the Brits he's fought, that have given him a hard fight was Tyson in the first fight. After that, he's literally taken apart everybody.
Yeah, because Tyson, you see, is technically a very good and very big and awkward fighter, isn't he? He's not a one-trick pony. No. He's not going in there trying to smash your brains out with one big punch. He's looking to box his way to victory, and that was essentially the difference between the two of them last night. Daniel Dubois, we were told, was going to go out there and really put it on him from the word go. Well, that's all well and good, but you've got to have more than just the desire to do that. You or I could say that. It doesn't mean to say we're going to be able to do it. He's got to be able to box his way in and fight his way in an educated manner, working behind his jab and using movement, finding head movement and an ability to slip shots. And I'm afraid to say, from the opening round, as you said, the writing was on the wall. He was putting his head back with that southpaw right-hand jab. He was so accurate and so quick. And he doesn't throw a punch and stand there and admire it after he's done. He's away. He's moving. He's got great footwork. And that would have, I hear people saying, is he the best of all time? Well, I don't think you can really say that.
No, you can't prove it.
You can't really compare eras. All you can be is the best of your group, and he is by a distance. And what I do know is that he is technically so cute, so savvy, that I think he would have given a prime Mike Tyson a prime Lennox Lewis, a prime Riddick Bowe, George Foreman, going back, Joe Lewis, Rocky Marciano. He'd have given them all trouble because he has that speed and that terrific self-belief. I don't know what you think about him when he gets in a ring and they focus on those steely blue eyes. And he might seem a very charming and likeable man outside it. Once he steps through those ropes, he looks a pretty scary guy to me.
I don't believe you, absolutely. But let's talk something we did talk about this earlier on, obviously the fight, and Cass made a very good point about where is the heavyweight division at right now, that a cruiserweight can step up and be as incredible as he is. He's going to take a break, like you've mentioned, but where does he go next? What happens next with him in the heavyweights?
Well, it's been done before, cruiserweights moving up. You know, Evander Holyfield was one of our finest heavyweight champions of the last 30, 40 years, and he came up from a lower division. So with modern training techniques, I think it's probably more easily done than it's been done in the past. But moving on from here, he really showed last night that, as he has said in the clip, I'm 38, but I'm young. And he looked a young 38. He's only had 24 fights.
Yeah.
Take those Tyson Fury fights out of the equation. He's not really had too many seriously hard fights. So he's not got a lot of miles on the clock in boxing terms. And really, I think he can probably go where he likes. There's a young British heavyweight coming through called Moses Itauma, who's very quick, a southpaw. And Turkey, the Saudi promoter, said afterwards, that's the fight I'd like to see. But whether or not it's right for Moses Itauma, I would seriously question. You know, he's a young lad. He's 22 or whatever he is, undefeated, and clearly has talent. But do you really want his career to be compromised by going in against him?
No,
if I was his manager, I wouldn't put him anywhere near.
Not yet. He's way too early in his career. But John, so where is the exciting fight? Because if he's beaten everybody that's put in front of him, where is the excitement for the going public who are going to go, I'm really looking forward to going seeing Usyk against whoever? Because it doesn't feel like there's one out there now.
I think the fight they'll do next is likely to be Joseph Parker. The New Zealander who is a former WBO champion
and smaller as well, isn't he?
He's more small, he's quick. He's a lot cuter than Daniel Dubois. And I think he potentially gives him more to think about Usyk than he had to think about last night. Beyond that, Ajit Kabayal, he's another one coming through as undefeated, and there's the possibility of the trilogy fight against Tyson Fury. You know, he's talked about a date in spring next year, Fury, and you could see that being a colossal fight if it happened on. You know, I mean, I was over there in Riyadh, and it was big, and you see it on pay-per-view television, but it's not the same as going in front of 90,000 people at Wembley. And if they could do that next year, and Fury's not spent, you know, he's still got something to offer. Quite clearly, he's given a good account of himself in two fights against Usyk, and I think at Wembley, I think the crowds would love it. I'd like to see it, and if I wasn't commentating on it, I'd pay to see it.
What about Dubois? What do you think?
Where he goes from here?
Well, I mean, it's been a very short-lived, hasn't it? Now it's been he's come, you know, with that big victory over OJ. But now it's...
Don't you think that too much was made of that because of that victory over AJ? You know, AJ is...
Your authority on boxing is way better than mine, John.
AJ is way back from where he was in his prime. And yet, Daniel looked sensational on the night. But how brilliant was Daniel Dubois, and how poor, possibly, was Anthony Joshua? You know, one not performing can make the other look absolutely brilliant. And the other fighters he's beaten, Jamil Miller and Hrgovic, since the loss the first time round against Usyk, are all, you know, big, relatively lumbering fighters. He has trouble against people who can move. So it's a rebuilding operation now for Daniel Dubois. But I'm afraid to say, after last night, it's a long way back, I think.
Just quickly, before we say goodbye.
Sorry, was I going on?
No, not at all. No, not at all. But I just wanted to pick on something. We're talking about it's very difficult to compare eras and generations, etc. But a lot of the boxers you mentioned, American.
Yeah.
What's happened to American heavyweights?
Well, UFC has played its part, and I think boxing in America has lost its way to a degree. It's still very, very strong in the Hispanic community. So therefore, just by nature of how the human body's put together, there's smaller weights and smaller fighters. Oh, incidentally, Manny Pacquiao was back last night, and he got it all. 46 years old,
My goodness.
which shows something, doesn't it? But yeah, it's lost
hopes
it
for us all.
It's don't fight Manny Pacquiao.
No, clearly no, definitely not.
It's gone a long way back in the States as boxing, and there's not really been an American superstar since Floyd Mayweather. I know there was Deontay Wilder, but he was, he was what he was. He was a one-trick pony, really, wasn't he? He was a guy who couldn't box, who had the most amazing punch, and it served him well and earned him a huge amount of money. But there are no American heavyweights out there. So the days of going over to Las Vegas, which used to be a lot of fun, it was more fun than Riyadh, and you don't from our perspective, from my perspective.
Yes.
But I can't see when there's going to be another big heavyweight fight in Las Vegas. It's not going to happen. I don't
Madison
think.
Square Gardens, all that. But
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yes, you were right. Just quickly to mention Manny Pacquiao. It was a draw, wasn't it?
Draw,
with,
yeah.
Mario Barrios. So yeah, I think he wants a rematch.
Wouldn't you?
11 rematch at 50.
Crazy. John, thank you for coming in. It's been lovely to finally meet you face to face, because we've chatted many a time down the line.
I'm not just a face on the screen.
You are real. Thank you. On the way next, we'll find out what's happening at Royal Portrush as the fourth rounders and final rounders got underway at the Open. You are tuning into the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We're live on your radio, YouTube and smart TV. It's Tony Cascarino, the former Republic of Ireland striker, who is alongside me, Natalie Sawyer. We're with you until 10 this morning. And we're going to just cross to Royal Portrush now, where, of course, the final round of the Open is underway. But our golf correspondent, reporter Rupert Bell, is with us now to just bring us some sad news from the world of golf. Rupert.
Yeah, sadly, my talkSPORT colleague Bob Bubka died yesterday. I'd worked with him for 25 years. He was part of we both started more or less at the same time bringing golf coverage to talkSPORT. I know he'd been ill for some time, and I've been talking to Janice, his partner and producer, who was also an integral part of the team when they came over, that he'd been ill and was struggling. But I know that he was still listening to our coverage and right to the very end, because he just loved golf. But more importantly, he just loved being part of the talkSPORT family, bringing golf coverage in his own unique way, because that voice was as hypnotic a voice that anyone could have. He just opened his mouth. He could say basically anything he wanted with that voice. And that one thing, he may have been physically frail towards the end, but right to the end, that voice never faltered. And he was even bringing, we were still working till early this year on the Masters and contributing. So I know he'd been, as I say, ill for some time. The last one he covered in situ for us was at St Andrews in 2022, speeding around in his mobility scooter around the streets of St Andrews. Is an image I will never forget. I mean, the highway code was something I don't think he quite understood when it came to a mobility scooter. But with the thing that he loved so much was when he would go round and suddenly interaction with fans, and suddenly you'd be talking to it and everyone would almost stop and say, "You're Bob. You're Bob. Can I have a photo?" Because that voice and his knowledge of the game, because he didn't actually start out as a golf man. He played golf, but he was a car salesman to begin with. I bet he sold a lot of cars, because that voice, you'd say yes. But he did a few bits with some friends on American local radio, and he really started to cover the game back in 1986. That was Jack Nicklaus's Masters, and actually Jack and Bob were very good friends, and also then he got more and more involved. But he also then, of course, was the voice of golf for talkSPORT in the Tiger era. And he was such a passionate advocate for Tiger and would just relish in Tiger's achievements. And Tiger would always find time to come and say hello to Bob as well. He would walk over to him and have a photograph with him and just spend time with Bob. Whereas, obviously Tiger's time was precious, but somehow Bob and Tiger, he would make time to say hello to Bob, particularly when he would see him in his, struggling to get around. Tiger would make an effort to come over and see him. And I know that we were a bit of an odd couple, it has to be said, but I just enjoyed sitting next to him. I mean, his eating habits were extraordinary, his food combinations and what he would do. I'd leave me thinking, what the heck's going on here? As he put some other combination of food in his mouth. But
peanut butter and jam sandwich, and
Well, and basically what he did do, particularly before he worked hard, but he also could play very hard. He'd try and probably go toe-to-toe with Alan Brazil. And even Alan might have found it a struggle to keep up with him back in the day. But I just enjoyed being in his presence and part of our golf coverage, because it was unique. There was, you just knew when he had to say something that you couldn't do anything other but listen. It was a velvety voice that drew us in and would help sort of explain and draw in people into the great game of golf, because he loved the tradition of the sport. And I'm sure right now he would be, and I know he would have been, reveling in Scotty Scheffler's achievements so far here, who looks a shoo-in to win the Claret Jug. But he would, because of the tradition, how the mantle has gone on from Tiger, and Scotty Scheffler is now the shining light in terms of golfing achievement. But I know I will miss him, because he has been part of my golfing journey with talkSPORT. I'll miss him.
Oh,
yeah, I think we all would as a listener, because when you hear him talk, and he used to say Natalie, the way he would say it, it's just like Natalie, and and that just was brilliant, absolutely.
Yeah.
And his voice was extraordinary.
Yeah, he'd just go hi, and you always make a point of knowing who the presenter was, so he could give them the hi Natalie or the whoever it is, and obviously he had a great relationship with Andy and Paul on H&J. They loved talking to him, and he loved being part of that program as well. And I know that what was so important, and I think talkSPORT was what he lived for.
Oh, Rupert, you've summed it up beautifully, and it's never easy to lose a friend, but we appreciate you joining us and just giving us your memories of Bob. Thank you, Rupert.
Cheers, Rupert.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
That is our Rupert Bell then.
A big loss, but I tell you what,
hugely
honour a man that commentated on golf for a long time, and he was a great listen. He really was.
Yeah, and lots of you right now sharing your thoughts of Bob, and we do appreciate it. Andy saying so sad to hear about him being the voice. Someone has also messaged with signing off Bob Bubka for talkSPORT. Yeah. All of these lovely notes that you've sent in, and we do appreciate it. There is a lovely piece as well on our website that is on there if you want to read about the tributes and the story of Bob Bubka. Sean O'Brien, who's part of our team covering this Open right now alongside Rupert, he's written the piece, and he says there was one time where he said to him, you could spend every day on the beach now. And his response, so Sean says, was something I will never forget, because he said, but Sean, this is my beach. Being at a golf course, covering the golf was everything he wanted to do. And you get it. I think
golf can be really cathartic, and it's beautiful. It is a game I love. I'm not good at it, but I love playing it and I like watching it.
Yeah, and when you're in the sport like he has been in for so long, it was a family probably for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And the friends he's created, he just rolled off the lips there of Rupert, Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, the two greatest golfers ever.
Yeah, very, very much so. I hear you, yeah.
And there's probably Arnold Palmer in there and Tom Watson in there. You can throw them in as well.
Yeah. So, sad news today then, as it's been announced that the voice of golf for many of us, as we all know, Bob Bubka, has sadly passed away, aged 83.
Radio is about voices, and there is no doubt when you heard Bob Bubka speak, it just grabbed you. Unmistakable and iconic, coupled with a wonderful, unique style, his distinctive American tones enthralled and entertained talkSPORT listeners for over 25 years. His love of the game of golf shone through, coupled with a cheeky, almost rebellious element, made him not only a delight to listen to, but in my case, to work with. His golfing journey began relatively late in his career, as he started out as a car salesman, but a few slots on American local radio led to expanding it to a full-time career. His first major moment, the Jack Nicklaus Masters in '86. His talkSPORT life began in the very late 90s, which of course coincided with the total dominance of Tiger Woods. Our paths first crossed covering a tournament in Germany in 2000, where Tiger was playing, and Bob came face to face with Jeff Boycott. What a pairing, particularly as Bob hadn't a clue who Jeff was. Bob was unashamedly biased when it came to Tiger Woods, in awe of his achievements, particularly as he had been brought up in the Nicklaus Palmer era. Testament to Bob is that Tiger always seemed to search him out to say hello. Bob and I would see each other at maybe 2 or 3 tournaments a year, and it was never dull. His ever-loyal partner Janice having to work overtime to keep him in check. And in those early days, when it would be true to say Bob loved a party, the work hard, play hard motto was writ large in Bob, creating a larger-than-life figure. But throughout, his love of the traditions and heritage of golf always revealed itself, none more so than around the Ryder Cup, which Bob wrote a book about. The biannual tournament was incredibly important to him, and he loved flying the American flag, even in the face of some disastrous American performances. In later years, Bob's health made it difficult to travel, and his last Open in situ was at St Andrews in 2021. He loved being there, and the relish which he drove his motorised wheelchair around the city was fantastic. But what he also loved was the interaction with talkSPORT listeners. And I know in the end, being part of the talkSPORT family was so important to him as he struggled with ill health. But even when physically frail, that voice never faltered. Covering the majors will never be the same without that extraordinary voice drawing us in to the magnificent sport of golf. Bob, we'll miss you.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earned 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
very good morning to you. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. Thank you very much for joining us this Sunday morning. It is the former Gillingham striker, Tony Cascarino, who is with me, Natalie Sawyer. And we're taking you through until 10 o'clock this morning. And then you have the Sunday edition to look forward to. Right now, it's time for us to bring you the very latest on the rugby in partnership with Tenor Men.
Qatar Airways Lions Tour Roundup on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. High-performance protected products for maximum comfort, confidence and discretion. Keep control.
Yes, the British and Irish Lions have got off to a winning start in their test series with Australia as they won the first test 27-19 in Brisbane yesterday. We brought you it live here on talkSPORT as well. Mixed sort of reaction in the morning's papers really to that result. So let's bring you a Wallaby perspective on it all. Pleased to say joining us it is Australian legend Matt Gitto. How are you, Matt?
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, hello. How are you guys?
Yeah,
very,
we're good.
Very well, thank you. So interesting, obviously, what happened yesterday. It looked pretty comfortable in the main for the Lions, barring perhaps the last sort of 20 minutes or so. Is that how you might look at it?
Yeah, I think a lot of positives to take out of it from a Wallabies point of view, as far as the grit and determination and to stay in the fight and keep competing. But I think that first half was so dominant. You know, the Lions, when they had the ball, they were clinical with how they carried. The ruck speed was super fast. And, yeah, I thought that was probably their best performance, especially that first 50 minutes with the ball and defensively. Like, they were just competing, making the ruck so slow for us. And it was they were a menace to play against. They clearly outplayed us and they deserved the victory.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big standout features was Finn Russell, the number 10, like you said, created and made everything happen from there. And obviously that's why the Lions were so strong in the first half.
Yeah, I think once you can get ruck speed, so, you know, obviously the breakdown was very clinical from their point of view, and Finn's getting front foot ball. There's no better player, I think, in world rugby that, you know, they've got front foot ball and he's got time to make decisions. He's going to make the right one, you know, probably 9 out of 10 times. And we saw that. He put on the first couple of tries and he looked comfortable. He looked confident. He looked like he really did belong out there. And that's probably the one area that we knew would happen, but it's trying to stop him. That's obviously the biggest challenge.
Undercooked is one of the words that has been used to describe Australia. They'd only played one warm-up game, and that was that Fiji victory, which they needed a late score to get that victory as well. Would you think that's evident in that performance yesterday, that they perhaps weren't best prepared for this?
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just at the airport here.
Don't worry.
I look for the quietest corner and when there's a big announcement. But anyway, yeah, as far as the game went, yeah, I think as a group they probably hadn't had as much time. I still thought that Fijian game could have been enough, barring any injuries that we had. Obviously, losing Noel Olosio, obviously a change at halfback as well. So you're 9 and 10 that dictate how the team wants to play. It would have been good to have that continuity. Not saying that the 9 and 10 that played for us, I thought, you know, Tom Liner with his limited opportunities did as well as he could in his first test start. But it was just, yeah, probably an extra game would have been nice. Or maybe if they played in those exhibition games, it could have been a nice warm-up for them. But then it's really hard, like in hindsight, because if one of our star players got injured in those games, then you're like, well, they should have been rested. Yeah. Now we've looked at this first test and it looks like we probably were one game underdone. So, I mean, in hindsight, it's easy to call, but hopefully it'll be a better performance this weekend in Melbourne.
I thought the standout player for Australia was Harry Wilson, captain. You know, again, you know, you can take heart when you're captain. You can lead by example. So, Matt, there is lots of things. You said you was optimistic and quite, positive that even though the Lions were very strong in the first half, you could see there's going to be another effort to improve Australia for the next one.
Well, that's right. And it won't just be Australia. I think the Lions as well now, they both played each other. So before it was almost like an unknown. You don't know how the Lions really want to attack the Wallabies, and we don't know how the Wallabies really want to play against the Lions. Now they've faced each other. They've got a picture. They've got something they can review and then really load into this week. So Melbourne, it's obviously going to be shackles off. The Wallabies are going to come out swinging. It's a do or die for us. We've got to keep the series alive. So this week they'll gain a lot, I think, from that game. But yeah, I agree with you. Harry Wilson, he was industrious. He kept putting his hand up, kept charging forward, making his tackles. I'd probably say the only one thing is just to bin his left foot, when we've got an overlap, which he kind of acknowledged as well. But it's just when we're chasing the game, we just got to hold on to the ball and try and put points on the lines or try and get back into the game.
There's been a bit of criticism aimed at Harry Wilson, though, for kicking the ball out in possession at the end of the game to end it. What did you make of that? Because, as I say, some have been pretty critical of that, because at that point it felt as though the Wallabies slightly, and I say slightly, had the Lions on the ropes at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I support the team and their decisions and everything else, but I think as far as like you're losing the game, there's nothing more to lose. You may as well throw, go out swinging. It could have just been a reactionary thing. Obviously, like I said, they're going to learn a lot from it. I don't think the game was won or lost at that point. And again, I think it would have been a far stretch to actually win that game. But yeah, if you've got the ball and you're down, you've just got to keep going. Yeah, I mean, if we lose by 19, we lose by 16. What does it matter?
Yeah.
You may as well just go out there and try and still win the game. So yeah, I think it may have just been, I don't know, like a bit of a brain snap or just something reactionary that he'd done, but he would have learned a lot from it. And I think that most of the boys will learn a lot from it. I think we were a little bit kick happy at times. And that was probably because the Lions' line speed and their defence was so amazing that you just feel like you don't have as much time or no other options to just kick it down the opposition. So, as I say, it'll be a better performance this weekend, but I think the Lions will be a lot better as well.
Matt, have you got anybody that's going to come off the treatment table and be available? Because you've had a number of issues with injuries, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. And we've got two big bodies that look like they're going to be fit. Will Skelton and Bobby Valentini, two big carriers, big, strong enforcers in the pack. And I think that's something that we will need, especially defensively, to slow down the opposition. Obviously, the Lions will get a lightning quick ruck speed. But then on the flip side, when we carry, we'll get over the ad line with these big bodies, and hopefully we're able to play on the front foot a little more.
And just quickly, what did you make of Tom Liner and that debut then? Because it's some debut to make.
Oh, unbelievable. Like an amazing story. His first test start, like you got to think about it. Your first test start is the first British and Irish Lions series, game. It was a huge occasion. I thought he handled it well. There were probably some areas that he would like back again. But I think he kept competing. He kept putting his hand up. He didn't shirk any of the defensive work as well. And also, we were on the back foot for a large part of that first 50 minutes. So being able to play as a 10, it's really hard to play with slow ruck speed because your options are very limited. So I thought he handled it well. He'll be better for the hit-out. And, yeah, I mean, you just keep supporting him. It was a huge occasion. I could only imagine myself now. I played 103 tests. Never got the opportunity to play in a Lions series. But to start in that would have been massive,
Especially with all of his British connections as well.
Yes.
It sort of makes it more interesting too. Listen, I'm sure you've got a plane to catch, clearly. We'll let you get sorted for that. But thank you very much, Matt, for being with us today.
Cheers, Matt. Bye-bye.
No worries. Thank you.
Matt Giteau there, as you hear, Centurion, over 100 caps for Australia. Work to do for them, but there's also plenty of work for the Lions as well. And you'll be able to find out what happens in that second test when we bring it to you next weekend. That was all thanks to Tenor Men.
Qatar Airways Lions Tour Roundup on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. High-performance protected products for maximum comfort, confidence and discretion. Keep control.
OK, when we return then, we will bring you tributes to Bob Bubka, who sadly has passed away.
I just want to share, I think St. Andrews is the pinnacle and the Open Championship. I've been asked for years if I could only cover one major, and I've covered 128 of them, which would it be? And I always quickly defer to the Open Championship. But at breakfast this morning, I saw a gentleman wearing a shirt that had Canada on it. So we start talking, and I said, "Are you enjoying it?" He said, "Yes. I'm kind of fulfilling something that I didn't know whether I was going to do or not." He's from Nova Scotia. He had come here 5 years ago with his brother, his younger brother, and they vowed that they'd come back for the 150th. And unfortunately, his younger brother passes away about 6 months ago. So he said, "I'm here not only for me, I'm here walking around with my brother in my heart."
The legendary voice of golf, Bob Bubka. And sadly, we announced this morning that he has passed away, aged 83. And there will be plenty of tributes, no doubt, throughout today, and more as well, to a man that is well loved within this sport. We had Rupert Bell, our golf reporter, who is at Royal Portrush, joining us a while ago, or not that long ago, I should say, and reflecting on his friendship with Bob, a friendship that's lasted since the 1990s, something like that. He was saying, and he will be sadly missed. Well, Bob, and we've had loads of messages coming in, Cass, because he
can imagine. He's
just such an iconic voice. You might not have been able to put the face, but you would have heard the voice, and straight away you'd have known who that was. Graham, for example, has been in touch to say, as a massive darts fan, I can only say that Bob Bubka done for golf what Sid Waddell did for darts.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Bob, the voice of golf.
Good, great comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pompey Paul has said he was such a terrific person. What a voice. He will be terribly missed. Golf will never be the same in my ears. Good night, Bob, and thanks for all the great memories. Craig in Windsor also says how sad it is to hear of the passing of Bob Bubka, the voice of golf on the radio, and a proper nice guy. We'll miss that soothing voice and fantastic golf knowledge, he says. And so many of you, as I say, getting in touch. Agent 320, I like this one. He says, sorry to learn the passing of Bob Bubka. Enjoy the 19th in heaven. Which is a nice way of looking at it. He will be missed without a doubt. And, if he had been well, he would have no doubt been part of our coverage of the Open right now. It more recently was involved at the Masters, as Rupert was reminding us this year. But unfortunately, ill health was the issue for Bob most recently. And sadly, he has passed away. But he would have cast an eye, no doubt, of what was happening at Royal Portrush, I'm sure, and would have loved to have been there if he could have been. The last one he said, so Rupert told us, that he covered was at St. Andrews a few years ago when he was on that mobility scooter.
Yeah,
running around on it as you do.
Yeah. Now, I've been to the Open and I've watched it live and loved it. It's a great spectacle. It's all quite calm. You have to get there early. You always get your place. Then you choose who you're going to follow around.
Yeah.
It's just a great experience. And I'd like to say, listen to Bob, because he's someone you wouldn't recognise if he was walking down the street. But as soon as he opened his mouth, you knew who it was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You might not know him by face.
How powerful that voice was. Without being, he's not trying to be powerful.
No,
it's just a natural thing for him. Yeah, that tone, real deep tone.
I mean, he was someone that has played a part in golf for a very, very long time. And as I said earlier on, Sean O'Brien has written a lovely piece on our website about it. And, when you're working into your 80s, there will be a lot of people that might say, "What? Why are you still doing this?"
You love it.
Yeah, of course. And that was the point that he made to Sean when Sean asked him the question of, why are you not enjoying yourself? Why are you not spending every day on the beach like you could do? And his response was, "This is my beach." So that was his enjoyment. That was the love. Getting up every day and being a part of golf. And we talked about it earlier, didn't we? That he was clearly much loved, would have found so many friends in the golfing community, hence why it just made it easy to turn up every time that you had to be there.
Yeah, there's people in life that don't necessarily have to do what they're doing.
It's not work. It probably wasn't work for him.
I've been very fortunate. I've played football and I've done media. My whole career is really media and playing football, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I loved every minute of it. I don't see it as a job.
No.
I just see it as an experience that I enjoyed doing. And, for Bob, golf was his joy, the thing that gave him the most pleasure. And one of the biggest things in life you can have, if you really love going to work and enjoying it, it doesn't come much better, does it?
No.
I mean, I always think about people who don't like their jobs.
Oh,
They're dreading going to work, don't like it. And I think, could I do that? I know if you're in a different position, obviously some people are caught on the financial world. If you've got to pay a mortgage, you've got to pay things, and you can't make that tough decision to quit. It's a really tough one. But yeah, no, the Open today on the Sunday, this would be his dream day, the final. We're on the home run. He'd be there. He'd have been, watching, and especially, got Scotty Scheffler, who I'm sure he would have. As tributes go, what he always would say about Tiger and Jack, he would be the same, I think, with Scotty Scheffler, and what a player he is. Waxing lyrical.
8 pairings are already out on the course right now. In a moment, Sergio Garcia is going to be heading out with Justin Leonard. And it's not until later on this afternoon, as you can imagine, at 2:30 that the leader, Scotty Scheffler, goes out with Haotong Li of China. But before that, there's a good pairing of Rory McIlroy and Matt Fitzpatrick, who are
a good one,
hot on the heels. Yeah, exactly.
They'll be driving each other. Not the pun, but they'll be literally trying to push each other on. They might even have their own little individual sort of, come on, let's have a little bit, see if we can beat each other. Just trying out. Because both of them have won a major.
Yes.
And obviously McIlroy's got the lot. Yeah. But they're, for them, it is all about winning now. That you're not there to be second. So they might just egg each other on and try and outplay each other, have that, battle, that heads-up game. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm trying to think, who was the golfer that... My memory's gone here.
Go on.
Who played alongside Rory, and they said that Rory didn't talk to him at all. Who was that?
DeChambeau.
I thought it was Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah,
Bryson DeChambeau. Didn't say a word to him.
Yes.
Well, he didn't have much time.
They already have an issue. I imagine that's not the same for Fitzpatrick. I'm sure they'll have a bit more chat.
No, there was all around the Live Tour, and Bryson is a player that is ultra confident, and sometimes you feel like you're. I mean, obviously don't know him, but it feels like his presence you're lucky to be in his presence. He feels a little bit like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but Rory isn't that. Rory, Rory yesterday, watching him, he loving the fact that the home crowd were really behind him, cheering him on, and he was really loving the experience, and it drove him on, to get a good round in. Yeah. And it'll be the same today. And I'm sure he'll love playing with Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm for sure he'll love it as his final pairing.
Yeah, so Fitzpatrick will begin at 9 under. McIlroy a shot further behind, but as we've mentioned, it's all about Scotty Scheffler, who is at 14 under, and he has that ominous record of the last 9 times he's led a golf event. After 54 holes, he's won it. So this is one of the majors he's not yet won, Scotty Scheffler. I think tied 7th is his best at the Open. But it does feel as though we've got to expect some meltdown for him or from him.
Don't know if he's capable of
No,
that.
that's what I mean.
No.
I say, and I don't mean it in a disparate. I don't mean in a negative way, but he has to suffer something going completely wrong. It feels for anyone to be able to go above him.
If the weather was really different today, if it was real winds and difficult conditions, I think maybe you could expect someone to have a meltdown on the course. But he's the last person I would expect to do that.
I know. I
and
agree.
the way he spoke before the tournament about his life, family.
Exactly.
He seems to be water off a duck's back to him, and he's such a great player, so consistent. It will be very difficult for anybody to get near him. If he plays even close to his best game, he's going to be the winner. He'll lift the claret jug.
It still will be a fascinating afternoon, and it'll be interesting just to see how he copes with it all, how he deals with it all, in the sense of the expectation on him. But like you say, he's not one that really is fazed by it, and by the fact, as you rightly pointed out this week, we heard him say that he kind of questions a lot about why are we doing this. It clearly is a job for him more than it is a passion. It feels, which is not a bad thing. If you're good at something, that's fair enough.
It's very important, but it's not the most important.
No,
that's how he sees it.
Yeah, and I think that's quite refreshing what he had to say, and quite nice that he has said, family life is important to me. making sure everything works for us, as he was sort of referring to in his family. So I quite like that from him. But yes, as I mentioned, they don't go out till 2:30, and before that, if you are so inclined, Matt Fitzpatrick and Rory McIlroy go 10 minutes before 2:20. But there's lots of British interest as well, with Tyrrell Hatton at 8 under. There's Robert McIntyre also. He's going out around 1:40. Lee Westwood is in there. Harry Hall, Justin Rose, a whole host of
on the back nine.
And more as well.
Back nine yesterday, Nat.
Justin.
Lee.
The best, wasn't it?
Well, he had a chance of shooting a 28 on the back nine.
Yes.
Which has never been done at an Open. He shot 29, but he had a chance. He missed the putt, it just went wide for 28 on the back nine, Lee Westwood, yesterday. Brilliant.
I know. It's that first nine that ruined it for him, because he could have had an incredible
he did say that himself,
So yes, don't forget, talkSPORT 2 will bring you full live commentary of what happens at Royal Portrush, but we'll have regular updates here on talkSPORT as well. Thank you for all of your contributions and getting in touch this morning. I know a lot of you have been sending in messages recently of the sad news of the passing of Bob Bubka. I'm sure we will continue to reflect upon that, and more memories and tributes to come, no doubt, across the talkSPORT network. But that is it for us this morning.
See you next week,
Yes, I shall see you next weekend. On the way next, you have the Sunday edition.
Radio is about voices, and there is no doubt when you heard Bob Bubka speak, it just grabbed you.
3 hole-in-ones in the last hour here at the par 3 16th. Just when you think you've seen it all.
His distinctive American tones enthralled and entertained talkSPORT listeners for over 25 years. His love of the game of golf shone through, coupled with a cheeky, almost rebellious element, made him not only a delight to listen to, but in my case, to work with, as he started out as a car salesman. But a few slots on American local radio led to expanding it to a full-time career. Bob was unashamedly biased when it came to Tiger Woods, in awe of his achievements, particularly as he had been brought up in the Nicholas Palmer era. Testament to Bob is that Tiger always seemed to search him out to say hello.
And now a moment that'll go down in history. Tiger Woods wins the 2019 Masters, and is he elated? This is an epic victory that will not be forgotten.
In later years, Bob's health made it difficult to travel, and his last Open in situ was at St Andrews in 2021. He loved being there, and the relish which he drove his motorised wheelchair around the city was fantastic. But what he also loved was the interaction with talkSPORT listeners.